Deja vu, I've been to this place before. Okay, we're back again. We'll do our usual. We wait out the song twice. And once it's done the second time, well, once it's done the first time, I'll hop into the title select screen. And it's done the second time, we'll get started with something we've already done. But, well, I am the dumb. And I will explain more when we start in just a few minutes. And one more time, and then we'll get started. Trying to analyze the team that they would have, the team setup that they would have on this splash art that they have for the screen. The concept art has a human male, a mutant female, a robot, and a monster in the dragon class, the C-type dragon class. So the dragon has a bunch of elemental attacks that are hit all in the end game. The robot is the robot, so I'd imagine. Although, based on the fact that it's hiding behind the human, the robot probably isn't the tank in this case, and it has a gun on its right arm that I can see between his leg muscles there. The human is obviously strength weapon user because he's got a katana attached to his back and probably some sort of gun. And then the mutant has something. Don't really see what she has in her hand, maybe nothing at all. Looks like she's wrapping her hand around the dragon. So I would imagine with this particular team setup, you'd have the human would be a strength user, which would make them kind of garbage until the late game. Unless they also worked on agility, which I guess is possible. The mutant would be a support unit, the monster would be DPS, and the robot would be your agility/tank. Although, again, the tank part is questionable because the human is standing in front of the robot, which means that the human is the tank. I think I'm overanalyzing this. Let's pick up the controller and get this moving, shall we? Okay, so here we are right here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the save that you just loaded up yesterday on the stream and we did all of this already? Well, yes. Yes, we did. But I am a big fat idiot, and while I was getting ready to edit the stuff from the stream yesterday, I accidentally deleted the first half of yesterday's stream. Just Snap and it's gone. So, today, we're going to be redoing what we did yesterday. But I'm optimistic about it. It gives me the opportunity. We might get through this a little faster than we did yesterday, so I might get a little bit more done. I might be able to actually keep Psychic Blast this time, or most importantly, Noel might finally actually have a chance to get Cure, and I'll take any chance of that I can get. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Final Fantasy Legend 2, the Stream Edition. Last time, we did this already, but the time before that, we explored a bit of Venus's world and the relics that were in the area. Well, we tried to explore the relics. The volcano popped up in the area after an earthquake, and a whole bunch of Magi were there, along with all over the rest of the world, but Leon, in his desperation to save his wife from being forced into marriage in Venus City, took a power Magi from us, and he's going to use it to do some really dumb things that will probably get him killed. So we should probably go to Venus City and try to prevent that if we can, because I don't think his wife would particularly approve of the idea. Hello, Conquer. How you doing? Yes, doing a rerun of yesterday's stream, just rerunning the whole section. I'm going to be moving right back to where we were by the time we're done, and yeah, it'll be fine. We'll make it work. We'll have a good time while we're doing it. Ain't no big deal. I'm gonna beam the sin out of this sprite here. And then, let's see, we still have that free ice book that I had from before, so maybe I could have Noel use that on mushrooms while Yumi uses fire on the Bodox. Excuse me. I would like to promise that I won't be repeating similar jokes or the same jokes from yesterday, but I don't know if I can promise that. It's likely that we will retread a few of the jokes from yesterday, if I even remember all of them. Probably not, but yeah, it's gonna feel very similar to yesterday's stream, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll make it work. Ain't no big deal. That Hornet will die to this, and then we'll use Kick. And yeah, this should work out fairly okay. So we're going to do, like I said, the exact same stuff we did yesterday. We'll finish out Venus City here, Venus's world. Then we'll head off to the Dragon Races, and then we'll head off to the Edo Shogunate. And if this is your first time seeing this section of the game, I apologize for spoiling the next three things that we'll be doing. But, well, I already did them, technically speaking, so. But before we go and try to bust up this wedding and crash the whole thing, we should probably rest at the inn just to ensure that we don't have any trouble when we go in there crashing the wedding. And if I remember right, I have a few things to sell as well, right? Yes I do. And we will sell those. We'll sell them after. Ain't no big deal. Suppose in a way this could be good for the VOD since the stream was choppy near the end last time. Yeah, that's true as well. The choppiness at the end of the stream was a bit of a problem, so this will be a little better. It should be nice and smooth today, so. But what won't be nice and smooth is the fact that Flora and Nils are about to get married. So we should probably get in there and tell them to stop that because, you know, Leon probably wouldn't be too happy about that one. Or at the very least, we'll just wait it out and make sure that Venus doesn't try anything sneaky when they, what's the word I'm looking for? Reciprocate? I don't really know. Doing okay, taking a break from the X-Nuzlocke. Nice, Conquer. Hopefully that's still going well for you. Nuzlocke can be up and down, so we'll, hopefully it's all doing all right for you there. If you hear my dog, by the way, barking in the background repeatedly today, it will most likely be because we have sustained winds of about 25 miles an hour today and gusts of up to 40, and he's got this thing in his head where if he barks at the wind, he thinks it'll stop eventually. I think it's like a sunk cost fallacy type of a thing. Not that dogs know what that even is, but, you know. But he has this thing in his head where if he keeps barking at the wind, it'll eventually stop for him. So if you hear him in the background, I apologize. Ain't too much I can do about it. I could tell him to stop, but, I mean, he's a dog. They bark. What can I, you know, what else could I do? Don't you hear him? My dog is objecting to the wedding, Venus. Oh, okay, apparently we're not allowed to object. Well, that's just fantastic. Let's see you grit those teeth, Flora! I mean, Venus? I mean, if he had the punch that I have in Yumi's inventory, he'd probably be pretty okay with this. Then again, power Magis don't power up martial arts attacks, do they? Well, you guys keep throwing all of your good Magi down the sewer. Like, the fact that they have a little dust stain on them is going to cause problems. Okay, well, Venus is a little stronger than Leon. I mean, he only has 1 Magi. She's got like 9, so... Yeah, this isn't a negotiation, Flora, unfortunately. I don't think Venus is the... I mean, look at her sprite. Look at how smug she looks. Does she look like the kind of person who would, like, be like, yeah, okay, I'll actually listen to what you said? No, she's the kind of person who's been brought up her entire life doing absolutely no work for herself and forcing everybody else to do it. So you should get angry about it, Flora. Friggin' tear down the establishment in Venus City. The rules dictate, well, screw the rules, I have a knife. Ha. This is what I think of your rules, Venus. That's a pretty steep loophole there, Venus. You probably should have written into the clause that the injury can't be self-inflicted. Wah, wah. Didn't really think that one through, huh? If there's one thing a god always keeps, it's her pride! Until we beat it out of her. Because that's what we're about to go do. Yeah, you need to slow your roll, Venus, because things are about to get a little bit crazy here, because we're gonna hand your pride back to you, okay? Yeah, you tried to take her on with only a single power Magi in a game where strength is the worst stat. That's kind of impressive if it wasn't also exceedingly stupid. But, you know, people do dumb things when they're in love, so. Don't worry about it. We're the kind of people who kick God's asses left, right, and center. It's a Tuesday for us. You should probably take your inhaler, Nils. It might be better for you that way. Okay, so let's save to the quick save slot, delete to what we had from yesterday. Boo-hoo, so sad, but that's okay. We'll take Venus on. Starter died second gym a couple days ago, now you're on your way to the last gym. Haven't lost too many Pokemon total, though. Well, that's good. That's good, Conquer. Venus is about to lose a lot more than you have lost in the Nuzlocke, because she's going to lose everything. And we got a first strike on her. Awesome. Do I need to use the Flame Shield? Probably not. I think I can just blast her with our strongest attacks, and that'll be the basic gist of the whole battle. Null is not very useful here, though, because as I mentioned previously when we did this fight, Venus blocks all elemental attacks. So you're pretty much going to be left with him doing a whole lot of nothing, except for healing people if they get down on HP. But we shouldn't really be in too bad of a situation, because she doesn't have a terrible amount of HP. So, now that is not a bark at the wind. That is a bark at the neighbors again, and I'm gonna tell him to stop right about now. Oh, good. It's a blizzard outside again. Well, that's just great. Jaeger, what you barking at, huh? It's okay. That's just the neighbors. That's just the neighbors. They're okay. They're all right, good boy. It's okay. You should go in the garage so you don't get all snowy, good boy. It's okay. You're all right. Okay. Pardonnez-moi a moment, Venus. I'll be right with you. There we go. Let me do this too. Unfog my window. Well, it'll do that by itself. Yeah. Close the curtain again. All right, Venus. Round 2. Let's do this. Okay. Got our hits in. I forget exactly how much HP she has. I think she probably has about like 2,500 if I had to guess. So, I mean, we've got a non-elemental magic attack. It should be fine. She can confuse you, but yeah, as you can see, it pretty much just ends up having Null waste his turn. It really shouldn't amount to much because well, actually, we don't have elemental protection at this point, but Null takes his turn last, so we should be able to kick her ass before it causes any problems. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we got some HP out of it. Did we get this exact jump up in stats last time? We might have. Well, anyway, for defeating Venus, we got the Power Magi, a Speed Magi, a Mana Magi, a Fire Magi, a little bit of everything, an Ice Magi, Thunder Magi, the Poison Magi, and the Aegis Magi, which behaves similarly to a shield. It will block some elemental attacks and also stone attacks on your entire party for the rest of the battle. But it's hard to justify using it, like I've said previously. I feel like I'm saying it word for word. Hard to justify using the Aegis Magi in this version because it takes up the Magi slot that you could be using for something that increases your offense. And in this game, having a good offense is usually better than a good defense. Having elemental protection is usually the best thing you could have for defense, but being able to just kill your enemies before you have any problems with that is usually the best thing. So anyway, Nils, it's alright. You were just a pawn in Venus's scheme. She was playing with a house of cards that tumbled down on top of her. This will remind me of today. No, actually, Flora, I was going to say you're losing an incredible amount of blood. We may want to take you to the hospital. You can find out that love is the most important thing in your life at the hospital after we patch you up. Oh, sure. Of course you do. Maybe it's that mutant girl that's outside, and she's just like, man, I hope that Nils actually doesn't go through with this and gets married with me instead. Okay, see you folks later. Well, all's well that ends well, huh? And we're in good shape to continue to the next world, because if we take a look at the Prism Magi, it should say that there's nothing left here. I don't think you can even go to the next world until you have all the Magi. Like, they give you this thing that tells you, hey, here's how many Magi are left, but, like, if you don't have all of them, you just simply can't go anywhere new. So as long as you continue to get to the point where the Prism Magi says there's nothing left, you don't got anything to worry about, so. I'm always going to forget which one's the up stair and which one's the down stair on these escalators. Thankfully, we won't be using them basically at all after this, so yeah, ain't no big deal. Okay, so let us. You know what? Let's just head on further. We'll do our shopping later because the next shop that we need to go to actually has an item that I want to buy. So we'll go do that in a little bit. And yeah, everybody's in good shape. Eventually, we are going to want to switch Noel and Yumi's place in the party, though, because once I get the next armor, they'll have a little bit closer to one another in terms of the damage that they can deal. I'm going to move Kick up right here just for a few minutes until we get to the next, not the next area, but the area after that, because I'll be getting a new technique for Yumi to use at that point. Although, let's look at what her agility is. I mean, it's at 37. I might get her an agility weapon instead of the thing that I got her last time. I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out by the time we get to, not the next world, but the world after, when I'm actually going to be shopping for weapons. In the next world, I'll just be shopping for armor, so. Epilepsy alert! Actually, that's not true, is it? Because I'll be buying an upgrade for the SMG in the next world, so. But first we gotta get there, so let's head over there, shall we? No, not that way, this way. There we go. We're getting a little closer to the center. That's the ultimate goal here, is to get to the center of the Pillar of the Sky so we can find out what's there. Epilepsy alert. Hopefully not a whole lot of epilepsy alerts, because, I mean, we've already had enough on our way there, so let's check it out, shall we? This is a shorter world here, so there ain't a whole lot going on here other than this minor dust storm going on. Yeah, it's perfectly normal. It's not Ashura's Tower's worth of a dust storm, so it's probably not a big deal. Let's see. How do I want to handle this one? I forget if Manticores have the flame ability or not yet, but, well, it shouldn't be a huge deal. I think the poison flowers have Circle Para, though, so we won't be able to deal with them in any particular way. But we can deal with them with ice and then deal with the Manticores with thunder, so that'll work. As you can see. Yeah, that ain't gonna do a whole lot for you. Got that Circle Para poison, just because it's down on my list. and not directly where I can see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I'll look around the corners. I didn't look around the corners before, but as you can see, fairly small little world. Just a couple little things to do, and then we'll be done. We gotta strike first, so let's just beams, and then I'll work on kick. Sure, why not? And I'll stick it in fast forward because I'm going to take a drink real quick before we move to the next area. But don't worry terribly much if you end up using the SMG at this point because, like I said, we'll be switching it out for something better in just a little bit. So. Okay, Null got some HP. That's nice. That will help us a little bit. And we are here. So this world is the Dragon Race world. It's probably not its official title, but this is where the Dragon Races are being held, so I would imagine that that's what it would be referred to in the game's code. So, well, I mean, he is a pretty cool dude, at least from what I've seen of him, although I can't help but feel like he's up to something sinister. Oh well, I don't have any solid evidence of that yet, so I can't really do much about it, so. Oh, apparently people managed to get over here despite the fact that there's a big old Magi Gate in a lot of places. Although, to be fair, they probably got here... excuse me. But, like, once we open the doors, are the doors just open to everyone? That would be my question. And the answer to that is, yeah, probably. At least that's the way I see it. Let's sell off all that fire stuff that we got from the volcano. We'll sell off the gold shield because we don't need that anymore. I could use an X-Cure. Probably buy that. You can also get an ice shield if you so choose. It's similar to the flame shield, except it blocks fire damage instead of ice damage. I misspoke on the third stream and said that the flame shield blocked fire damage. It actually blocks ice damage. So the ice shield is probably actually better than the flame shield overall because of the fact that fire is a much more commonly used element by enemies in this game. But with that being said, we'll be able to get a better shield in the next world, so I'm just going to leave it. We won't need it for anything terribly badly. What we will need is the dragon armor, so we're going to buy 3 of those. 1 for Null, 1 for Yuumi, and 1 for Arya, because that provides exactly the same sorts of protections that it did in the first game, all elemental protections. So fire, ice, thunder, and poison, you're protected against all of them. And that's really nice because it means that a big part of Arya's defense is now completely taken care of. She no longer has to worry about being weak to elements, which could cause lots of damage to her. It just makes it a little bit easier for her. Okay, so let's buy an X-Cure as well, and then we'll save the rest of the money that we have to buy up a bazooka from the weapon shop for Arya, because that's the next upgrade to the SMG there. Let's see, if I want to replace the dragon armor here, I think I want to just stick it like here. Yeah, because we'll replace that later, we'll replace this later. I'm not 100% sure if I want to keep the... there's going to be another shield that we'll get in the next world that's better than the flame shield, like I said. And I'm not sure if I want to keep that shield for the end game, or if I just want to keep the dragon armor. I'll have to decide that by the time we get to the next world, so... we'll see. That being said, everybody should be fairly substantially more powerful with this armor. So, and I know Yuumi has a good chunk less defense than Null, but I'm going to stick Yuumi in the third slot anyway because Yuumi eventually is going to have almost the same defense as Null by the time we get to the next world, and we'll also have more HP to boot. So we'll make use of that, make good use of all of it. Let's stick the X-Cure up here. I keep wanting to call it an X-Potion, which I guess is what it is, but, you know, not referred to as such in this one. So, and let me see what I can sell here. We want to sell silver plates. I want to sell the Giant's Gauntlet. Don't need that anymore. And then I want to buy... and yeah, a few things here that you could buy. Death Books are absolutely not worth it. Don't worry about them. They're considered para-elemental in this game. They don't have their own element, and so that makes them actually worse than stone, because para-elemental is actually resisted by a decent chunk of monsters, especially as you get towards the end game, which is not exactly where we are yet, but we'll be getting there. And yeah, it's usually just better to deal elemental damage, I find, in this game. Status effects, usually not so good, unless you're using a monster, in which case their mana is usually high enough to take advantage of it. I will buy a bazooka, though. That will significantly upgrade Arya's AoE game, which is fairly nice for her. It'll make it a little bit easier for her to deal good damage to things. I'm just trying to think, because there's another AoE thing that you could wait for in the next world, because you get one for free, that I could replace her shield with. But then, the only problem with that is that Confucius wouldn't have elemental protection later on. It's a conundrum. I will figure out how I want to deal with it eventually. Not just yet. Let's see. Does anybody have a decent chunk of cures so I can... Well, you got 23 left on you. I should probably hold off, though, because it would be like 600... Was it 600 something gold? No, it was like 200 something gold for every cure spell that I use versus the 11 that I'm going to spend going to the inn. So, yeah, not usually all that worth it. This place looks fancy. It's almost like a little dance hall or something. Somebody gonna announce stuff from that stage? Probably, and he's right here. There's Apollo. So this is where you went after we solved your riddle, huh? Okay, well, we'll give it a shot then. I mean, might as well. We're already here, so might as well go take a look and see if we can find it. It does make me wonder where he gets all these magi, though, you know what I mean? Like, he has to have a source or something. Like, it's not just like he's pulling them out of thin air, so... And it looks like everybody's already getting ready for the race, so... Sure, I'll take a refreshment. I believe this is an old, like, horse racing term. The longest way around is the nearest way home. It might have to do... I honestly am not 100% sure what that exactly refers to, but it might have to do with the idea that if you take the long way around, you're going to be going slower, so you're going to have more energy for the end of the race. I could be completely wrong, though. I'm not 100% sure. I can't say that I really have ever even seen a horse race, let alone know what the terminology means, but... So yeah, now we gotta enter the dragon races, and there are 4 dragons for us to pick from. From left to right, they go from most to least expensive, and from fastest to slowest. So, the way that we're gonna do it is, if you want to... basically, how quick your dragon is here will determine how many sub-bosses you're gonna fight inside the dragon races, because, of course, there'll be monsters on the racetrack. You didn't think this was gonna be easy, did you? If you pick the dragons on the left, like for the first 3 on the left, you'll fight 4 monsters for the leftmost door, 3 monsters for the second one right here, 2 here, and then 1 over here. But again, excuse me, it goes fastest to slowest. So, you obviously won't be as quick, so other people will get ahead of you, but it isn't really a huge deal because the main thing about it is that you want to make sure that you face the sub-bosses that you want so that you can get monster meat for your monster so that it can transform into whatever you want it to be. But for Confucius, I only need to fight 1 of the sub-bosses, and it just so happens to be the last one. So, because of that, we can just very safely go to the slowest dragon, and there's a distinct advantage to that as well, because this dragon in particular, he's slow, but he's reliable, and he's free. The other dragons you actually have to pay up to 1,000 gold to ride on them. It's really a drop in the bucket at this point in the game, but you can't really beat free, so I'm gonna ride on this one. We'll give your dragon a shot, sir. Know what they say about slow and steady? Uh-oh. Well, slow and steady might not exactly get ahead in the beginning of the race, but, you know, we'll make it work eventually. Okay, so... this is how slow this dragon is normally. Now, if you were to use a faster dragon, you'd be actually going a lot faster, but because of the fact that I'm playing this particular version of the game, I can use fast forward, and we'll make the dragon go a lot faster. So we'll do that in just a moment. First, let me take care of a few nuisances that are making things difficult for me. Like this. Bam. Now, those magicians are, they can be a little nasty, so you want to make sure you take care of them before they cause any problems. So, we'll use the Mage's Staff because it gives us a little bit of an AoE attack, especially since Noel can single target the piranhas with thunder and just zap them to death. That always helps. And he gets mana out of it. Perfect. So yeah, we can fast forward through the race so that the slow dragon becomes decently fast, not incredibly so, but, I mean, it'll work. We gotta strike first here, so... beam these guys. We'll use kick. Just use a few kicks. And then we'll blizzard for anything that gets left alive. Probably one of the flowers will stay alive because Ari is going to go now. I probably should have thought that one through a little bit, shouldn't I? Oh well. No big deal, we'll handle it. Actually, I'm going to use Flash because it's just I'm just want to waste a turn at that point. Use the Ice Book too. Gotcha. Yeah, might as well use up those martial arts while we've got them. They'll give Yumi a chance for an agility boost, and they'll come in fairly handy. You'd fight your first monster right about here somewhere. Probably almost exactly where these guys just ambushed me, actually. But, yeah, we're not going to worry about that now because, well, we're going to make our way through without having to worry about that. Don't use Thunder. I guess the Manticores aren't particularly strong against fire, I don't think. Okay, well, we got most of them. It'll be good, though, if I get a mana up, because then I should be able to get them all in the next time we fight them, be able to get them with that fire spell, so. But yeah, those dragon armors not only are preventing us from getting hit by elemental attacks, it's also preventing us from getting hit by the poison's attack that they've got there, which just poisons you, so. Yeah, poison is one of those elements that it pulls a little bit of multi-duty, so it's not too bad. Yeah, probably right around there would have been where we fought the first monster. So let's continue down the straightaway. It's a good thing I got to strike first in this battle, because this battle is nasty. Ammonites and Tororos can both use defense-ignoring attacks on you, and that's no good. So let's see what I can do about that. They're weak to electricity, so actually I'm just going to beam the Tororos to death. I guess I could do this just to make sure if there are any stragglers they get taken care of, so. I don't want to do this with Yumi. I could use Kick, but I kind of don't want to. I also can't really use Thunder. Well, actually, no. Here, I've got an idea. We'll just do it this way, and then you can do it that way. Because by the time... Okay, so now it'll just save a beam for me, which is nice because we need to hold on to those 15 beams for the entirety of this whole thing, so... And Null should be able to take those guys out? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, that worked out. What's a pit stop doing here? Do I get 20 rings if I go through this? No. No, that's a different game that I just streamed not too long ago, so... Let's continue down the straightaway. Uh-oh. Somebody got hurt! Ah, okay. So here's where, if you were in the second fastest dragon, you would fight the monsters here, because this guy would basically say, yeah, I can't go any farther because there's a monster in the way, and then you'd have to fight the monster right about here. But because we took care of the fact that we weren't on the second fastest dragon, we don't have to worry about that. So let's keep going. We'll just fight the regular monsters instead of all the sub-bosses. I didn't actually mention which ones you would fight now, did I, though? I think I remember what they would be. So you fight an Adamantoise, a Lamia, something else that I just can't for the life of me remember, to be honest with you. And then the one that we're going to fight, which is a Watcher. We'll get to that one in a little bit, but let me be clear, the Watcher is not very nice. He's a bit on the nasty side. Yeah, I'll use the Mage's Staff, might as well. Use a few of those charges. What you do get for going to the pit stop is a waste of a couple of seconds of your life. Well, that's fine. That's fair. I can afford to waste a couple of seconds. Not a big deal. Of course, catch me saying that when I'm 60. I think I might change my tune by then. Every second counts. Alright, let's keep going. I'll probably wait to save until just after this section here. Oh, this is gonna suck. Those corpuscles in the middle, I think that's how you say their name, they can use defense-ignoring attacks on you as well, so they're a little bit tricky to deal with. I don't want to handle this. Probably like this. We'll use Beam on them just to get rid of them. And then... I'll use... no, I'll use the Mage's Staff, and then we'll use Blizzard. Spread out the damage! Yeah, I kind of like the hit-all skills in this game. They aren't particularly powerful in a lot of cases, but they at least soften enemies up pretty good for you, so... Which kind of lets you save on charges for your books and stuff if you have a whole bunch of them, so... Oh, Yumi got mana up out of it too. Nice. Were you waylaid by monsters as well? Yes, you were, but somebody else took care of it for you. You'd be fighting the Lamia here if you picked the any of the dragons other than the free one, so... Yeah, gotta be a little careful with that, but we're fine. We haven't taken a whole huge chunk of damage just yet from the attacks that we've done here, so we'll make it all work. We might take a little bit of damage from this battle, though, because this battle is a little on the nasty side. Let's see, especially since we didn't get a first strike. I don't want to handle this. Probably... Yeah, we'll use the Mage's Staff, why not? And the serpents... So serpents and magicians will die, it'll just be the champagnos in the middle. Again, don't exactly know how to say those. I do know that they are a French cooking mushroom, but I'm not 100% sure on how to say their names, so... Oh, this is gonna hurt. Never mind. Yeah, having that elemental protection with the dragon armor, pretty nice. Unfortunately, Confucius doesn't have that, and he also didn't get his turn before all of the magicians went. So that's just phenomenal. Do this, and then we'll do this. Everybody got a turn at this point, so pretty much just go from there. It's like they targeted the one person that actually would have been able to, or wouldn't have been able to deflect their damage. Oh well. We'll make it work. I do need to heal Confucius now, though. Boy, deja vu on that. I feel like this happened previously as well, like when we were doing this section. Whoops. Well, there goes 200 gold that I could have had otherwise. And, oop, wrong person. Yumi, I need your cure book. I'll just top everybody off since I'm here. There we go. And let's keep going. Once we get around this bend, I'm going to want to save again, though, because basically once you see the next racer, which is right about now, you're going to want to make sure you save again because the monster is coming up very shortly. Might as well use kick. And then thunder. Only got a couple of kicks left, but we'll make them work. Ow. Stop it. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, the fire gun, not really all that great. I mean, it was coming from something that had 0 mana, to be fair, but honestly, I'm convinced that it deals fixed fire elemental damage at this point, because it really is that weak, even in the hands of somebody with high mana, so it's really not all that great. Anyway, here's the next guy. The first place guy who couldn't go any farther. So before we move forward, just make sure we're not dying, which we definitely are. Ow. Let's fix that a little, shall we? Yeah, the monsters are going to start hitting a little bit harder now, just in case that wasn't immediately obvious to anybody. But we'll make it work. We'll figure things out. And let's save to our quick save slot, so that way once we fight the next monster, if I don't get its monster meat, we can just reset, because I do need its monster meat in order to transform Confucius into an all-powerful monster. Not that he wasn't already, but he's going to be even stronger than he is now, which should be saying something, because he's already ridiculous, so... How did I do this previously? I think I did Bazooka, Beam, Kick, and Thunder, I'm going to say? Ow! Yeah, I gotta watch out for these guys' beam attack. I can do like 500 damage to everyone, which is just not all that great for us. We'll use this Thunder, and then we'll use Blizzard. Ha! Gotcha. They are a pretty high-ranking monster, though, so it's probably a good idea if you don't need the monster meat to keep an eye out for HP and stat gains for your human and mutant. But, well, I need the monster meat, so we're just going to keep resetting until we get it. But now that I've shown you the battle normally, we can play it in fast forward, especially if we only get one watcher. That shouldn't be a huge problem for us. Gotcha. Okay, Circle Poison would have been nice, but it's alright. But yeah, you can fight up to 4 watchers in this fight, so you gotta be a little careful that you don't have any problems with them. I'll use the Ice Book, just to ensure that we do enough damage. There we go. Alright, we got the meat on the third try. Nice. Hopefully I get some good abilities out of this, but let's feed an eyeball, shall we? And Gazer will turn into Nymph. Okay, well, we only got HP out of it, but I would rather just make sure that I have the monster meat. The gains aren't really all that important, because we'll get plenty of those later. So this is the one and only fairy-type monster in the game that I'm going to be using, and it's incredibly powerful. But first, we also got some Magi out of that guy, and we got all the Magi that we would have gotten over the course of the race if we had gotten a faster dragon. So, and if we use the Prism Magi now, as you can see here, no Magi left. So those were the prizes, basically. Which probably means that Apollo hired those monsters to try to waylay people on the racetrack, which is just not cool, but I guess it's some sort of challenge. Thought you fought more than 4 Watchers at one point last time. Maybe Gazers. I think there was a battle with Gazers in the next world on the last, on the stream yesterday where we fought like 5 or 6 of them, but I think the Watchers can only come up in groups of 4. I'm not 100% sure about that though, so I mean, I guess it's possible. And it's definitely possible in later worlds where the Watchers will become regular enemies to fight more than 4. But I think, and again, not 100% sure, probably about 75% sure, you can fight about 4, only a maximum of 4 Watchers, but I could be wrong, so. Anyway, the reason why the Nymph is so powerful, take a look at those stats first of all. 71 agility, 66 mana, and 57 defense with 568 HP. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it's got access to thunder, got access to ice, got access to sleep, got access to cure. Why is my controller being crazy? I'm not pointing it directly at the thing, that's why. But the most important thing that it has access to is Whirl. And Whirl is incredibly stupidly powerful. It's a non-elemental attack that hits all enemies in the entire battle for like mana times 8 multiplier for damage. And I mean, 66 mana, that means we're hitting for like 480 to 500 damage on all enemies in the entire battle. That'll one-shot most things at this point in the game. Most battles will just completely fall over from that. So if you really, really need something dead, now you can do something about that. I'm usually not a big fan of the fairy-type monsters, though, because they don't have decent support abilities. Other than Circle Quake there, I don't think the Nymph has anything for support ability. If it had, like, Warning, then I would see the appeal, but I kind of prefer to have, to split up those support abilities so that my mutant doesn't just have 2 support abilities, you know? I mean, you can run a mutant like that, where you have, like, Surprise, Warning, and Cure, and then whatever its fourth ability, the fourth ability of the mutant is, and then you can run a monster that's completely DPS centric. But like I said, I usually prefer to split it up, split the jobs in that department, because it makes it a little easier to get what you need, you know. So I don't think we need to demonstrate Whirl in this fight. We'll just do this, and then we'll do this. There we go. But get rid of the biggest threat first, which would be those Corpuscles. And then the Mage's Staff and Blizzard should clean up anything that we missed. Perfect. See how nicely that works out? Granted, Null having low agility does sometimes make it so that we take a little bit of extra damage, but the fact that he's slow will actually come in handy for us. The fact that he's slow on the agility will actually come in handy for us later in the game, as you'll see. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. Goal! We have won the race. Awesome. Thanks, Apollo. And that's pretty much it. Dragon races are over, so now the world is over. Let's go see if Apollo has anything else to say to us before we head out. Might have been another enemy, think about it again. Yeah, like I said, I think it might have been the Gazers in the next world. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might have been. Well, thanks, Apollo. Uh-oh. He's got that evil laugh going on there. It's fine, he's probably just practicing for a party or something. Gotta throw a party for the winners of the dragon races, after all. Wonder when that party's gonna happen. Probably later in the game. Oh, actually, here's the thing that I've been wanting to do with Null the entire game, but haven't had the chance to. Since Confucius has the Cure ability as one of his natural moves, we can use the Cure ability to heal everybody to full before we go to the inn, and then we can rest at the inn for free. because the only thing it's based on is how much HP you've lost, not how many ability charges you've used. So that makes it fairly easy to kind of break the system a little bit. Okay, let's sell that SMG, and then we will head out for the next world. Next world's a little bit longer, so we should be able to get the whole thing done on this stream, but it might take a little bit. It'll actually be a little bit less time, though, I think, than when we played yesterday, because I actually know where I'm going this time. I always forget where I'm going in the next world. I'm not really sure why, but this time it's pretty fresh in my memory, so I should be able to get us to where we need to go without too much trouble. But we gotta get there first, so let's head over to the Pillar of the Sky so we can head over there. Epilepsy alert! And let's head to the next door. So yeah, just a little side world, nothing particularly special about it, but it's an interesting concept, you know, like they use the different worlds to do different little things with the story. Nothing like super interconnected, but almost like a series of episodic adventures. It's like a weekly Saturday morning cartoon in all of these worlds. And that was the metaphor that I was kind of going to make that I didn't come up with yesterday. But honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of dig the aesthetic of them. Instead of it being like one overarching narrative, it's a series of little adventures that all have small ties to one another and eventually culminates in something that brings it all together. It's interesting. It's not like the way that they normally do things, but it's interesting that they do it here, and it works for the system that it's on, because this is for a portable system, the Game Boy, so of course your adventures would be stilted into small chunks of gameplay, so it's better to do it in an episodic manner so that you don't forget story details. And to be fair, if you do, there's always the memo feature, so we don't really need to worry about that. Epilepsy alert! And let's go to the next world, shall we? Let's see where we end up. Oh good, we ended up in Japan. Fantastic. Maybe if we go to the office building over here, the developers of the game will show up. Let's go find out, shall we? Yeah, I think it works well in this situation. Like I said, there's a lot of nifty things that I think this game does with the situation that it is as a Game Boy to really take advantage of the hardware and push it to its absolute limits. And this is a 30-year-old game, to be fair. It's not like this came out at the end of the Game Boy's lifespan, so it's interesting. I quite enjoy it. Oh good, 8 gazers. Fantastic, this battle's gonna suck. I think it might be better to just attack one of them. I mean, I guess I could just have Confucius kill them. I'm gonna use Sleep. We'll try using Sleep, and then we'll try killing them after that. Do I want to use my last kick? No, I think I'll try Thunder, just to see if I can give Noel a chance to go. So, okay, they all slept. That's good. That means we won't die today. I mean, they might wake up, but if they wake up, they still wasted their turn this turn, which means they're all dead anyway. So, yeah, not too bad. Hey, you gentlemen have monsters on the castle grounds. Is that okay? Okay. See if that works with the monsters, but I mean, it usually doesn't work for me. Usually I'm the one that has to go away when the monsters are running around. Oh, good. J-Bulks. These guys are a pain in my ass because they have circle damage and circle change, which means they take half damage from weapons and no damage from elemental attacks. So unless you're somebody who's like the Gazer that I had previously for Confucius, you're probably not going to be able to inflict a terrible amount of damage to them. Now, group attacks like the bazooka will allow you to kind of get around their defenses, but not easily. So, we'll just do this. And, because basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use, like, whatever. It doesn't particularly matter what I use, even if they're immune to it at this point. Because in the next turn, I'm just going to have Confucius use Whirl to take care of them. They don't have a whole ton of HP, but yeah, usually at this point you don't have a whole lot of non-elemental attacks for them, so you gotta kind of make do without it. And now we'll test out Whirl. Hopefully Yumi doesn't get her turn before everybody else. Whee! Oh, I'm never gonna get tired of that animation. It just blows them straight out of the battle. And it's context sensitive as well. If the enemies survive Whirl, they will come back down. And I think that's really neat. It's a context-sensitive spell animation. That's pretty cool for an old Game Boy game. So, Like I said, lots of nifty things this game does. I love it. Wonder where this is. Let's check out the buildings while we're here. I mean, I know where I need to go, but I didn't check these out last time to demonstrate where they are so that we know for later. Okay, so this is a courthouse, apparently. Interesting. Fancy bonsai tree they got in the middle, along with the bonsai trees that they have on the outside. Let's see what's over here before we go any further. Okay, a few more J-Bulgs. How do I want to handle this? I guess just laser sword. We'll use sleep. And use that. And use that. Whatever, it doesn't particularly matter, like I said, because next turn we're just going to whirl them to death, so... I would be using something other than my spellbooks with Yuumi, but, well, I don't have anything other than the spellbooks except for one kick, so... Although I could use it, just to get rid of it. Maybe she'll get her turn before everybody else. Nope. Whee! That's just a fun little animation. I like it. Yuumi got mana up. That's good. How's everybody doing anyway? Yuumi has 25 mana. That's not too bad. She has an effective 42 agility, so that's also good. And Null has 33 mana. Okay, so he's doing all right. Not great, but he's doing all right. I believe, yeah, this is the harbor, so ships would normally be parked here if they had anything going on, but, well, they don't at the moment, so we're just gonna, let's see, how do I want to do this? This is a top-tier threat of a battle right here, because the Gazers can use Beam, and the Mosquitoes can use Absorb on you, so that's no good all around, but we'll take care of it, not a big deal. Null might not get a turn, but, well, you know, sometimes that'll happen. Ow. Stop that. Well, we used our last kick, so... It was a pumped-up kick, for that matter. I don't think I ever even listened to that song, so I don't know why I'm referencing it. I know the name of it, but that's about it. So, well, let's heal Yuumi. Because she took a bit of a hit just then. Why did I use my Cure Book? I have Cure on Confucius. I'm so used to not having it, I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll just use the Cure Book. Duh. You're wasting money. But yeah, there are no ships here at the moment, so don't worry about it. We'll come back here later when there is a ship. And then we'll see what's on that ship. And there's another town over to the east there, but we'll be going there anyway for the story, so let's go here first, because this is the next place we need to go. So let's see what's going on around here. Okay, well then eat bananas. What do you mean bananas aren't allowed in this? No, hang on, hold on. I get it. You don't want to eat bananas. That's code for something, isn't it? You want something else, don't you, sir? I understand now. Okay, I was about to flip my shit. No, that's a translation thing. The original script said they say opium there, because it's based on the opium trade that was plaguing Asia back in the 1800s. And in the original script, in the Japanese script, they said opium, but probably because it was supposed to be a kid's game for the Game Boy, they said, yeah, the American companies said, yeah, we probably shouldn't put opium in a kid's game. I mean, the word murder is in this game, but yeah, that wasn't as sensitive of a word back in the 90s, I don't think. Or if it was... not a lot of people made a vocalization about it, at least for video games, until like the mid-90s, you know. So, I talked to this guy already, right? And he told us, yeah, there's Hatamotos doing some crazy stuff all over the place. Hey, there's a few of them now. And what do you have to say? Okay, apparently talking shit about your leader. You cannot block me this time, robot. I have found the way to not be soft-locked by you. Yeah, that robot blocked me in that little section behind the inn there yesterday. Had to push them all the way out of the way, so. But anyway, we can go to the shop now. Let's check it out before we go trouble ourselves with the Hatamotos that are troubling everyone. That's a good question. Where do you get your goods, Mr. Man? Well, maybe we'll find out later. But apparently it's good stuff, so I guess it doesn't particularly matter where he gets it, at least for now. Let's see what kind of stuff he's got, shall we? What you got, Ichigo? Yes. Yeah, that is pretty good stuff, isn't it? So he sells some endgame level gear here. He sells a Flare Book, which is a really strong spell. It's got a multiplier of 13, which is the strongest of any magic in the game. It's tied with Prayer. The Prayer Book from the original world in the second town in the game has a mana multiplier of 13 as well. But that only works on undead. Flare works on everything and hits everything in a battle. So it's pretty damn good, but at the moment it's very expensive and also only has 10 uses. So I mean, it would kill everything on a battlefield in one hit, so if you need to clear the screen, you could do that, but we have Whirl for that, so I don't really need it. We got Dragon Swords, another strength weapon. Tank is interesting because the tank weapon, I said yesterday it's probably supposed to be an anti-tank missile, but that's not true because an anti-tank missile doesn't have a shield on it. The tank behaves as a shield and a fixed damage weapon for whoever equips it, so it's pretty interesting. If you didn't get the bazooka, you might want to grab one of these, although you get one for free later, so you don't got to worry about that too much. If you can hold off just a little longer with the SMG, you'll get a tank for free, and then you can use that. But I already got the bazooka, so that's fine. Missile will hit all enemies, just like in Legend 1. It's got more uses now as well, so it'll probably be more useful. This little laser is an agility weapon that ignores defense and deals fixed damage. It's only an agility weapon if you equip it for a robot or a human or a mutant, though. Although I guess monsters can't equip weapons, can they? Robots get a fixed agility boost out of the laser, and humans and mutants have a chance to gain agility when they're using it, even though it isn't affected by their agility in terms of the damage. Judo, the next karate technique, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get that just yet. And then there's the Dragon Helmet. It gives you para protection, which is pretty nice, prevents most status ailments in the game. And then he also has Tense, which give you a full restore. It's basically an elixir, except it's useful on everybody. And I'm definitely going to grab... do I want one of those, or do I want two? Might be better to get two, because I'm going to use one of them, but it might be better to just have a second one for the next world, where we're definitely going to need the Tense anyway. Because you can't buy these just until, let's see, not the next world, not the world after that, but the world after that is when you could buy them, so... Yeah, you can't buy them for quite some time, so if you want any, stock up on them now. So... let's move these tents up, actually, and we'll stick ice down there. Almost at the point where the X-Cure is no longer going to be useful to us, so we won't be buying any more of those after this, so... yeah. But, yeah, Ichigo, you sell some good stuff. Just, gotta make sure you have enough money to get them, and after getting all that dragon armor, well, sometimes we don't have that kind of money, so... Okay, well, let's go mess around with the Hatamotos, shall we? Tell them to stop picking on other people and start picking on someone their own size. Even though Arya is kind of about half of their size. She barely comes up to their pant leg. Well, that's fine, but shouldn't the road belong to everyone? How's everybody supposed to get to the shops behind you if they don't? What if they live back there? You guys aren't really thinking this through, are you? Well, then again, they're picking a fight with us, so would they ever be thinking it through? But yeah, as you can see here, you can fight up to 8 Hatamotos in this single battle. Thankfully, we got a preemptive strike, so this should be a cakewalk, but it can be pretty bad if you get, let's say, I don't think they have surprise, though, but let's say they ambushed you. Yeah, it doesn't really work out too well for you if they do, because they hit pretty hard, so. But we should be able to handle them, especially if they're all sleeping, or most of them, anyway. Yumi should get her turn in a minute. There we go. They might actually die to this, yeah. Well, sorry, Noel. Okay, I'm not sorry anymore! Holy shit! I can keep it this time! Yes! Okay, so Noel lost Gaze. We weren't really using it. It's that paralysis move that we had on Gazer before. And we've acquired probably the best offensive mutant ability in the game. Psychic Blast. Yeah, look what's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Psychic Blast, tell a friend. Because Psychic Blast is really good. Basically, I'm going to pause this for a second so I can explain it. It's like your Blizzard skill, except it's non-elemental. It hits all enemies, and it's got a multiplier of 8. So it's very similar to the Whirl ability that Confucius has right now. Which means that Noel is going to basically kill everything from now on, because here's the thing, it's different from the Whirl ability because it has 15 ability charges. Just let that sink in for a minute. how destructively powerful that's going to be. I can see it now. Oh, I can't wait to evil laugh when he murders everything in a few minutes in a battle. Uh-oh, apparently they were just playing with us, but also apparently Hana, is going to come save the day. Yeah, if you're ever wondering where they got the idea for Erica from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, where her sprite idea came from, this is practically the sprite right here, so... Although, it was all referencing a girl in a yukata, basically, so... But they probably used this one as a base, so... Yeah, I guess we're better than we were, so... I mean, we didn't really get her place of work, but apparently she's a detective. She said she was a flatfoot, but she's a detective. It's the same thing. It's another word for it. Okay, so now... I'm going to stick this up here. We're going to keep Thunder for now, because we actually don't need Blizzard now that we have Psychic Blast. It's just a straight-up upgrade to Blizzard, so we can actually get rid of it, finally. I basically never get to do that, because I almost never get Psychic Blast, so... It's a level 6 ability, if I remember correctly. So you probably wouldn't be able to get it very early in the game. I think the earliest you can get it is when you fight Dunatis, but... Well, now we've got 2 of the best abilities. All we gotta do is get Cure, and I can die a happy man. Well, anyway, we got a little bit of extra money, so let's go spend it up here at some of the shops before we go find Hana. There's a weapon shop right here, and I'm actually probably going to spend some money at this one this time. Did I get anything interesting? No, I didn't, so let's see. A few weapons here. You can buy a Mage's Staff if you want to use it. I've still got charges on mine, so I don't got to worry about it. I believe the Vulcan Cannon is the... I forget if it's single target or multi-target. I think it's multi-target, but I'm not 100% sure. And I think it's an upgrade to the bazooka, but, well, we could have gotten a tank missile, or not a tank missile. Let's just call it a tank gun. We could have gotten a tank gun or a missile earlier, and they do similar things, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. And the bazooka we have is doing well enough for us at the moment, so I'm not too concerned. Some other strength weapons. Here's the laser and the judos, in case you want to buy those anywhere other than at Chikoya's place. But I think I'm going to buy a cat claw. Before, I actually bought judo, which and I gave it to Yumi. But she's got enough agility to where I think she might actually be able to use the cat claw fairly effectively. So we're going to give it a shot, shall we? Let's see if she's good with it. I don't know, but we're going to find out by going like this. And we'll save this slot for her because I'll find a weapon that she'll be able to use there in a little while as well. So, but do keep in mind that the laser is here because that we'll probably be coming back to buy that for Arya later because it gives a really high amount of agility. I think it gives 26 agility when you equip it, so it's pretty good in that department. And it deals pretty good damage, even though, I mean, obviously, at this point, fixed damage isn't all that great, but later on, when the enemies start getting resistances to weapons and stuff like that, having a fixed damage thing that ignores defense is usually pretty good, so. Oh, crap. Apparently, Hana's father was a detective, but he knew too much, and they got rid of him. Well, that's no good. Maybe we can help her out and figure out how we can fix that whole situation. A few new armors as well. The kimono will give you some agility. The samurai shield it's protective, but not particularly protective. The dragon shield is probably the one that I would like to get because it protects against all elements. So it's pretty good. It does similar things to what the dragon armor does for us at the moment. But, well, Confucius doesn't have protection from all elements, so it might be a good idea to hold on to it and use it in battles where we're going to be fighting enemies that, let's say, use electric damage or poison damage, something that he doesn't have resistance to so that we can deal with that. Let's see, we got battle armor. Not quite as good as the dragon armor in my opinion because it doesn't give you elemental protection, so yeah, not too great. I'm going to keep in mind that the samurai shield is here though because at a later, like way later stage in the game, there may actually be some merit to buying this for Arya to have her use it as her shield. I'm not 100% sure about that just yet, but I'll look into the data a little bit and see how much HP and defense it gives, and then we'll come back for it if I deem it worthwhile later on. But I would like to get that dragon shield at some point. We just don't have enough money at the moment, so we'll go get some money together as we go through the world, and eventually we'll have enough to where we can actually do something about that. So, how are we doing here? Are we in good shape? I think everybody's pretty much in good shape. I mean, we have a couple of ability charges that we could replenish, but yeah, we don't got to worry about that too much. Okay, we'll just head off to Hana's place and see if we can find her. She actually lives in the town to the east that I was talking about before, so we'll go see what we can do about that. Okay, so Psychic Blast time. Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready for this, but we're gonna do it anyway. Show him what you can do, Noel. Oh, here we go. Let me see it. Yes! 320 damage to every enemy. That's pretty damn good. I mean, it didn't kill anything, but still, I mean, it's better than what Blizzard would have done in that situation. Blizzard at this point does like 200 damage, so... Okay, maybe it was a little bit underwhelming by comparison to other things, but it's good enough, trust me. Especially as he gets more mana, and obviously he got mana from this battle, so the more mana he gets, the better off he'll be with the damage. So... But yeah, having that plus Whirl and having the lasers or bazookas and everything should make taking care of these J-Bulbs a lot easier than it would otherwise be. So we're going to just do that. And here's the best part. Psychic Blast gets replenished whenever you stay at an inn. So that's really good. And to be fair, there you go. We did 320 in the last battle. We got 1 mana. Now we're doing 348. And with the bazooka hitting enemies and softening them up, yeah, it's going to kill things. We don't got to worry too much about most things now. This is going to suck even with Psychic Blast, though. How do I want to do this? Probably this. And then we'll do it the same way we did it last time, I think. Let's have you use the Cat Claw over here so that I have a chance to kill the mosquitoes with Null. And that way Yuumi still has a chance to, get some agility out of this battle. So... But Null's getting pretty good with his mana there because he's doing, when he hits a weakness. Okay, that's not so good, but you know, it's fine. The Dragon Armor protects him from that. But yeah, if he's hitting their weakness, he's dealing upwards of 500 damage to them, so that's pretty good. Not too shabby, Null. Not too shabby. Living up to your slow attacker nature. I don't think I went this way last time, so I'm just gonna show it off before we go to the eastern town there. There ain't a whole lot going on over here, unfortunately. And I believe there's absolutely nothing up that way, just a bunch of bonsai trees at the edge of the world, so... Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's see, we'll do this, and then Psychic Blast! I'm just glad that I got it in this particular playthrough, because, well, didn't really get to see the full power of it in the first game. I don't remember if we got it in the first game, but I don't think we did, so... Yeah, I didn't really get to take advantage of it, but now we definitely will get to take advantage of it. And I mean, Yuumi's doing pretty good with that Cat Claw, so not terrible damage. I mean, it's not going to deal as much damage as, let's say, Judo, when Judo was at low uses, but it's doing pretty good for her, and the more agility she gets, the better off she'll be with it, so... I would eventually like to get a Cat Claw for Arya as well, but, well, we can get one for free in a little while, so I'm not too concerned with that. Excuse me, let's use Thunder, the Cat Claw, and Psychic Blast to clear things up, just in case. I don't know if Null's going to get a turn, though, because Yuumi and Arya, yeah, take care of it by themselves, so... But Null got some HP, so that'll work. Oh, good, a Tarantula, my favorite. Now, Tarantulas aren't bad. They're fairly tame, from what I understand in real life, but, I mean, I guess obviously it depends on if you decide to intrude on their territory. Yeah, 300 damage with the Cat Claw isn't too bad. It's pretty good for Yuumi there. That'll work. There is a particular monster that I'd like to meet up with here if I can, so that I can try to get its monster meat, but last time I ended up not being able to get it on screen, so if we don't meet up with it, we'll have a way of getting it later anyway, so... So that's probably why they said he knew too much and got rid of him, is because he was investigating Echigoya. And, I mean, if the sprite wasn't obvious, Echigoya might be up to some shady stuff. So, I mean, he's wringing his hands in his sprite like that. Usually people aren't wringing their hands in like that unless they're guilty of something, you know? Unless his hands are just really cold. I can relate. My circulation in my hands is sometimes kind of bad. Let me take a quick drink while we're talking to this guy. We'll let his dialogue play out while I take a drink. So I'm not just talking ad nauseum. Oh, there was a guardian here? Huh. Have to keep an eye out for that guy. You might want to know that the captain is not really kicking anymore. What's up, dude? Heard the same about IRL tarantulas. Wouldn't stop you having a mild panic attack if you see one, though. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If you're not a big fan of spiders, I could definitely see it. I mean, I don't personally mind spiders all that much, so... it's person to person, so... Oh, well, it looks like you're doing a pretty good job. Most of them look like they're paying attention. Except for this sleeping toadstool over here. Wah, wah. What's up? Yeah, it's nice here in Edo. I mean, other than the shady business dealings, things seem pretty good, at least where the civilization is fairly normal. Well, that sucks. I mean, you've got a beak, so if you bite your tongue, it probably hurts quite a bit. You stab yourself. Sorry to hear that, dude. Oh, good. The riddle sound effect. An octopus and a squid together, huh? No, they would have 18 legs. Because a squid has 10. Nice. Well, thank you. I know some trivia things. I've been told that I should try out for Jeopardy occasionally in the past, because I know some weird trivia stuff, but I don't think I know enough to get on Jeopardy. You know, that's a good question. Are you guys breaking the fourth wall? I mean, that joke probably wouldn't fly in, you know, the Japanese version, because then it's just in English, but since it's in English anyway, questions without answers. I think so, at least from what we've learned. This kid's asking the real questions. Well, I don't have an answer for you, kid, but maybe by the time we're done with our adventure, we will have an answer. Let's go find out, shall we? What you guys got at the weapon shop here? Anything interesting? Mostly the same stuff that you could get from the other shop, so nothing particularly interesting. Nothing that I care about anyway, so. This line is one of those things that you play this game and you'll never forget it. It's just like, bananas, guys, that's your code word. That's what you're gonna say. I mean, you could have come up with something that was at least a little bit realistic, but bananas. Oh, boy. Oh, okay, so this is Kame, and he used to work under Han's father as a detective's assistant, probably? Well, yeah, I mean, she's trying to avenge her father, so she's trying to be at least as headstrong and straightforward as he was. I mean, if you're going to investigate somebody for shady business dealings, and you can probably put two and two together at this point and realize that Echigoya is behind the whole banana smuggling operation, but, yeah, if you're going to investigate someone like that, you got to be at least a little headstrong. Anything here that I particularly want? You could buy a heal staff if you really wanted to at this point. It will actually come in handy for the boss of this area, but yeah, I don't think we need it particularly badly. We'll make do without it. No big deal. Sorry, I had to take another drink. Caught a little bit of air in the back of my throat, and I had to get rid of it before it caused me undue duress. Yeah, there's the word. There's murder. Can't say opium, but you can sure as hell say murder. Hey, Hana, what's up? Thanks for the assist back there. Yeah, it seems like it. They're making trouble for everybody. So who's telling them what to do then? Probably the higher ups, and they're the ones that are making it hard for everybody by making the Hatamotos do everything bad for everybody. Yeah, we heard about that around town. He, yeah, was doing some investigation, and it didn't exactly go well for him, from what we understand. Well, that would be the least you could do to, you know, get him, to you know, take revenge for what he did to your father. Probably put him to death. Said, nope, this guy knows too much, and then just sent Hatamotos after him, so... Yeah, probably a good idea, Arya. We can be rather convincing when we're angry or, you know, trying to get information, so We should probably go and see if Echigoya has any interesting information for us, we'll say. So let's go check it out, shall we? Let's head back to his shop and see if we can't squeeze some info out of him. If you want to buy anything from his store, by the way, you probably want to do it now because his store is open for now, but once you start up the next story sequence, his store will no longer be open. So you gotta, if you want to buy anything, make sure you buy it from him now from the front of the counter like this. We're gonna go around to the side of the counter and it'll actually let us trigger the next sequence. But make sure you do it now if you don't, if you want anything else from him. If you don't do it now, you probably won't get the chance. Also, I haven't used the Prism Magi here, so let's see how many are here. Okay, there's 4 in this world as well, so we're, well, we'll be at 67 by the time we're done, so we'll be in good shape. Alright, Echigoya, spill the beans. We know you're involved with the banana shipments. Tell me where they are, or else. Oh, okay. So yeah, now the ship is actually at the harbor, and that's I'll go over to the south of the town. So we're going to head over there now that there's actually a ship there, and I'll just point you in the right direction. There's a total of 3 docks at the harbor, but the one in the middle is actually the one that we want to go to, because that's where the ship is. Otherwise, you're just going to be running into a whole bunch of monsters, so we'll just take the correct path the first time. So we can move right along here. Of course, if we get waylaid by monsters immediately, that you know, might make things a little bit different for us. Actually, we'll do this, and then I'll do this. Because that'll get rid of the mosquitoes, but it'll still give Noel a chance to kill something. I might take a beam, but, well, nope. We're good. Hey, is that Kame? What are you doing here? Oh, crap. She's gonna get herself, at least kidnapped, if not worse, if she does this stuff by herself. It's probably part of that whole tomboy thing he was talking about, huh? Well, let's go see if we can offer her an assist. One good turn and all that stuff. So we'll investigate Echigoya's ship while we're at it. Oh, nothing down there, but do remember that there's a section of the ship at the bottom there that you can go to, because on the next floor there's actually a particularly valuable item, if I recall correctly, that we can get right down there. So we'll go get it. Weakest link in this battle is probably the Tarantula. I'm going to get rid of the boulder real quick. And actually, I'm going to do this. We'll get rid of the boulder. We'll let you get rid of the Evil Pine. And then you can get rid of the Tarantula with ice. Because that way we can use up the ice book. And we'll hit for the weakness of the Evil Pine, and then everything else will just die. So it's all good. There we go. Perfect. If you're going to be using Thunder here, you may actually get to the point with Noel where you won't be able to kill them with one of his attacks, if you're using his abilities. Because mutant abilities, just like monster abilities, have a slightly lower damage multiplier than the actual books. So you may actually get to a point where he'll just barely leave an enemy alive. And that's not ideal, as is this unexpected attack. So, we'll see what we can do. Okay, that worked out incredibly nicely because we didn't... let's see, killed Boulder just like last time. We'll do it the same way. And then use the Ice Book. Yeah, not using a whole lot of Psychic Blast just yet, but not to worry, it will come in plenty handy. Probably starting as early as the next world, and then basically all the way through the game from that point. Okay, I'll take Blitz over X-Ice. I mean, it's another useless ability, but, well, it'll work out. It's, I think I mentioned it before, but it'll actually lower the enemy's agility when you use it by, I think it's like 10, or maybe it's up to 10. I know it's 10 in Legend 3, but I never use it in this game because it's pretty well useless, so... we could go down here to get to the next floor, but before we do that, let's head over here and grab this treasure. A laser gun. Nice. We'll give that to Yumi. Again, I would like to get one for Arya eventually, but she's got good enough stuff now to where she doesn't need it. But Yumi's got a free slot, so I might as well give her the laser so that when she runs out of Cat Claw, or if an enemy has Circle Weapon, she can use the laser to her advantage. Excuse me. Okay, now we can go to the next floor. Because I don't think there's anything else on this floor, so... This is one of those battles where if we got an unexpected attack, we'd probably be very well dead. So, This is a strike first, so it really doesn't matter what Confucius does. I guess we'll just do this, and then we'll do this. Most snakes are weak to ice in the game, so usually it's a pretty good bet to just kill any snake that you find with an ice attack. Well, I won't need that. Not quite finding the monster meat that I need, but again, we might be able to get this world done a little bit quicker today than we did yesterday, so I might be able to actually go to a secondary point where I can get that monster meat today and just demonstrate what we're going to be turning into. We'll do this, and we'll do that, and we'll do that so that you have a chance to gain agility, and then we'll do that, yeah. Okay, well, sword isn't bad. As long as you guys don't use absorb, I'm okay with it. Because absorb is, it does a lot of damage. Okay. Hey, look, more treasure. I'll bet you all the bananas are in these barrels. There's that tank gun that I was talking about before. We'll probably just sell it for some money. Here's the Hecate boots, which let's give those to Noel right here because those are really strong for him. Take a look at his mana. His mana is at 35 at the moment. If we switch out the giant helmet with the Hecate boots, bam, he's got 50 mana. Now, here's the thing. I equipped these yesterday and was going to use these for a little while, but here's the thing about the Hecate boots. When Noel gets his next piece of armor, because I'm probably not going to be changing his armor at all for the remainder of the game until we get his next piece of armor, I actually will have to unequip the Hecate boots, which will mean his mana will go down again. And his next armor actually does not give him additional mana. So I may actually just leave the giant helmet for now, and then that way he'll gain more mana over time as we go, and then I'll just end up selling the Hecate boots, because it might be better for him, honestly. It's a pretty good piece of gear for maybe, let's say you're going to use a human that's entirely mana focused. It's a pretty good piece of gear for them because it'll just give them straight up plus 15 mana, but I might unequip it and just sell it because it just might come in a little more handy for me that way, to be honest. Whoops. Oh, this is the equip screen. I want the ability screen. There we go. Use up our cures because Confucius took a little hit. And let's see what's in here, shall we? After I take care of Mephisto? Yeah, Mephisto. Well, we got to strike first, so probably won't take too much to take care of him. I don't think the Cat Claw will one-shot him, but I mean, I guess it might. We're going to find out right about now. Bam. Yeah, not quite. Well, it's okay, though. Gives Noel a chance to attack him, which means a chance for more mana. Man, they're really guarding this place pretty well, aren't they? This is not a first strike because these gazers have warning. I guess I could try sleep, see if that works on them. We'll just do this, and then thunder. Alright, nice. Yeah, sleep usually works pretty well if you're using the nymph there, probably because it has such high mana, so that rather helps. Nice. Noel getting more HP. Not that he needs it, but, you know. It's better that he gets it now, because eventually Yumi's going to start catching up on the HP. But Noel can... If Noel gets it now, it's not really a huge deal. Eventually, I'd like everybody to have, like... I think 600 is about where you want to be by the end game, similar to the first game. So... Oh, okay, Taro's here. Taro and Hana. Nice. Did they kidnap you too, or were you coming to rescue her? Oh, okay, nice. Thanks for the assist then, Taro. We keep trying to assist all these people, but everybody else keeps one-upping us. I mean, that's fine. Not a big deal, but... Well, yeah, with all this evidence, Echigoya is going to be going down. Yeah, probably a good idea to make sure she doesn't get kidnapped again or something. Alright, so Hana has joined our party. What are you going to do, Taro? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Probably do his old heart some good. Okay, so Hana's joined our party while we go and take the evidence to Echigoya, or to the court to get Echigoya arrested. We don't want to take it to Echigoya. He probably would do away with it. Hana's not all that good, though. She has... I mean, her stats are okay, but the Sifa is a strength weapon, which means she can't take advantage of her high agility. The coin is an agility weapon, but it deals incredibly low amounts of damage. And Temptation's only coming off of 39 mana, so it can confuse enemies, but it usually doesn't, so... Yeah, she's not really all that great, but, I mean, I guess she'll be alright enough. We got through here without her, so we can probably get through here with her. So, let's put these guys to sleep. We'll use Thunder again, and yeah, I guess I'll just... Well, no, I'll use Temptation, actually, because, I mean, any chance that I can get to prevent these guys from attacking me is a good one, so... And wait for it. There we go. Null can take care of him. Bet. No, thank you. Don't need that. The monster that I need the meat from, by the way, you may actually recognize it because it's the hermit crab that we actually fought in the Venus City sewers. It is a regular enemy in this world, so if you can find it and we can get the monster meat for it, we can transform our nymph into the thing that I actually want coming up next. But if we don't find it, it's not really a huge deal because I'll demonstrate where we can get it somewhere else in a little while. Just use the Cat Claw again and then Thunder and Temptation. Okay, well, both of them worked, so that's good. Because now, even if they wake up from sleeping, they're still confused, so... Yeah, that bazooka's working pretty good for us. Doing some good damage to groups, which is exactly what I needed to do, so... Alright, let's get the heck out of here, shall we? Ah, there's a hermit crab. Do the crab rave. Do I want to use the laser sword? I don't think I want to. I think I want to just defend, because that way I can give everybody a chance to get a turn. We'll use the fire book. He's actually immune to it, but it will still give me a chance to gain mana that way. And I guess we'll just use the Sipha. Sipha's like a Tonfa, basically, so it can block attacks when you use it in battle, almost like a bronze shield, so... Okay, well that's not too bad. Stone Skin is a counter-attacking ability that will allow Null to stone enemies, so it's probably the best counter-attacking ability in the game because stone being its own element, most enemies aren't immune to it, and if they are, it's usually fairly... It's not very common for an enemy to be immune to stone, unless they're just straight up immune to change. So it's not too bad, but Null's not going to be in the front of the party, so it's not really going to be all that useful to him. Most of the time he's just going to be in the back, so... Hey, there's Hermit's Meat. I can actually demonstrate it without having to go to Venus's world this time. And, yeah, I mean, we'll lose out on Whirl, but it'll be okay. We'll be fine. So, here's why I wanted to have Quinfucius eat the hermit crab meat. If we take this and we change him from a nymph into a chimera. And we got a mana up. Perfect. Yeah, I got it super quick this time. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't even planning on getting it until, like, the end of the stream, but got it this time, so that'll work. So yeah, remember the chimera from the first game? Well, it's kind of making another appearance here. See, the thing about Chimera in the first game is that the only reason why it was a good monster was because 3 Heads had a ridiculously powerful multiplier for it. In this game, 3 Heads has its normal multiplier, but multi-hitting attacks are actually a lot better in this game overall, and the Chimera also has some other really good abilities. Like, it's got good stats, as you can see there. It's got Nail and Tusk to take advantage of its high strength. It's got Flame, which is a hit-all ability off of halfway decent mana. 52 isn't bad. The stats are a little worse than a Nymph, but it does come with Warning, and it comes with Strength with 3 really good Strength-based attacks, and also Circle Quake, which it had before. The main thing I want out of this particular monster is Flame and Warning, but 3 Heads is a nice bonus, so we'll leave it like that, I think. That should be good. So yeah, that's going to be Quinfucius for quite some time now. We're going to be sticking with the Chimera for the rest of this world and the rest of next world. And a good chunk of the world after that. It's actually a fairly solid monster, even though it's only tier 3. It still does basically everything that I need a monster to do with my current party setup, so it synergizes really well with everybody else, especially now that Null has Psychic Blast. If he just had Blizzard, it would still synergize well with him, but I've got the Mage's Staff, I've got Psychic Blast, I've got Flame. We're gonna be a house. Everybody's gonna do really well at this point. Although the boulder might be a little bit of a problem now because the flame won't kill it. Well, actually, if I do it this way, and then I do this, then we will probably kill it that way. So we'll do this let's just see how this goes, and then we'll see if I want to... Actually, we'll do this. Let's just see how this goes, and then we'll see how we all fit into the equation later. In terms of getting Null his turns. So... But yeah, Flame is a hit-all ability. Does decent damage. I mean, you know, 200, 300 damage. Nothing to sneeze at, so... Okay, that actually worked out very nicely. That was exactly what I wanted to happen, because that would give Null a chance to get more mana. Awesome. But yeah, just want to make sure I play around everything so he gets some mana, because it's just so important that he gets mana. Again, he doesn't need a huge chunk of it. Once he gets above 50, we're in good shape. And he's actually almost there now. But, yeah, we won't be able to have him take advantage of the Hecate boots with his endgame armor setup. So I want to make sure I get him there even without those. And it might be a good idea to do it this way, so that way... Like I said, I'm not 100% sure if mana gains are based on the disparity between the monsters that you're fighting and how low your stats are, but that's usually how it seems to work for me, is if we start fighting higher level monsters, I get more mana if I don't boost my abilities up too high. So, yeah, we'll see if it works out that way. So before we go up that way, let's head to the courthouse so that we can just take advantage of all of this. We didn't take too many bad hits, I don't think, in terms of... Yeah, we still got most of our uses left on our abilities. So we should be fine to go to the courthouse straight away this time, unlike last time where I went and took a snooze before going there. Maybe this will give us a chance to take Echigoya for a ride in the court system. Take it to the judge, sir. Okay, we will then. He's smuggling bananas, Judge. We gotta do something about that. Nice. Well, he's gonna go under this time. Good work, Hana. Nice job on the investigation. Oh, hey, Kame, what's up? Good to hear that Taro got to you first. That way you guys could come and watch Echigoya be arrested. We got you now, you banana smuggling fiend. Oh, don't play coy with us, Echigoya. We know what you did. We have the evidence. Never mind, we don't have the evidence. How did he get them off the ship so fast? We were just there. This guy works fast, holy cow. Well, not you directly, but probably someone else that you hired. Sure you didn't. Well, that's just great. Now what are we supposed to do? Uh-oh, that almost sounds like a threat. Coming from that guy, I wouldn't be shocked. So what do we do now, Hana? We couldn't get him. We had all the evidence, and he still slipped through our fingers. I mean, they could be on the payroll. He could be paying them off, too. But yeah, I guess we can't... we don't have any evidence of that at the moment, so I guess we can't really say one way or the other. Incidentally, this was the point on the stream yesterday where we started having problems. I'm going to see if we've dropped any frames yet. Hold on. Nope. Knock on wood. We've dropped 0 frames so far, so that's perfect. Uh-oh. What happened? Kame, did you fall down some stairs? It looks like the racers in the dragon races after they got knocked around by those monsters. So what you're saying is you yelled at Hana for trying to do everything herself and then proceeded to try to do something incredibly reckless by yourself. That's just great. Uh-oh, the officers are here. I almost call them soldiers. I guess it's similar thing, same difference, but... Oh, really? Well, I haven't seen them. I'll keep an eye out, though. Yeah, I don't think I have, and I didn't. OBS has a little option to let you know if you have or not, and I have not, so that's good. Oh, so that's why he went on a date, because he got that fat stacks of money. Phenomenal. This Kame is as much of a... Well, I guess we don't know that he's as much of a perv as Master Roshi, but... Yeah, you know. Well, I can see that. Echigoya has got you guys on the payroll. I'm not going to say that out loud because then they'll all start fighting us, but you know. Yeah, ideally there won't be any this time, so. There, I knocked on wood again. Excuse me. That one's been stuck in there for a little bit. My apologies, but yeah. Yeah, we need to figure out how we can get the evidence so that Echigoya can actually be, you know, indicted for what he's done. Yeah, and we have more incentive now to do to get him arrested because, well, they hurt Kame, so. Nah, it's all good. You just stay here, old timer. We'll go take care of things. While Taro takes care of Kame. Alright, awesome. I made mention of how the story in this world sort of reminds me of a story in another game that I'll be playing not too long from now, but that was on yesterday's stream, which was scrapped. But I'll save that for the imagination for now. Anybody that heard it, well, obviously you know, for in a little while when we do play that I'm going to be taking a little bit of inspiration from this. It wasn't intentional. I didn't really realize it until I started playing this game. Hey, yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from this inadvertently. But it will come up. Some of the little story beats that you see here will come up in another game that Cole and I will be playing in a little while. I'm not 100% sure exactly when we're going to play it, but we'll eventually be playing it. So, how about we just do Cat Claw here? Let's see. Just do Nail. I don't really need you to do too much because I have Psychic Blast if I need damage. Okay, wow, that's pretty good. I mean, you do have 68 strength, so a 68 strength nail would still deal pretty decent damage, so. Alright, before we head inside, if you haven't rested at the inn, it might be a good idea to do so, but I just did that, so it's fine. We're good. And it looks like Echigoya has abandoned the counter, probably because he's planning something sinister behind the counter over here. So let's go check it out, shall we? But yeah, the ship and Echigoya's little behind-the-desk chamber here, it gives you a bit of a mini dungeon almost, because there's going to be a regular dungeon coming up, and it is quite long, but this is almost like a build-up to it, you know. We shouldn't be getting into any unexpected attacks, by the way, beyond this point, because we have warning and surprise now, so no back attacks anymore, and we have the chance to get preemptive strikes. So this should go fairly smoothly from here on out, actually. And do I want to, you know, let's just use up the ice book. I want to try to use it up before, I'll use the coin because what the hell. That's it. Just flip it at him. Use it as a distraction, Hana. We'll hit him with our attacks, our elemental attacks otherwise. Yeah, I want to use up the last 4 charges on the ice book before we finish off the world here. Okay, X Thunder kind of sucks, but I mean, we got that yesterday too. Oh well, it's worse than Stone Skin, but you know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I want to use up the last of the ice book before we finish up today because we still have that free one in our inventory here, and inventory management is going to become a thing that's actually important when we get to the next world. So. No, he was in for 4 hours already, so he'll be good. I can bring him in at like 8 o'clock or something. Okay. But yeah, inventory management is going to be important in the next world because there's a lot of items for us to be getting in the dungeon that's in the next world. So we'll deal with that when we get there. These guys, I believe, are just Echigoya's guards. What's up, dudes? You aren't guarding the bridge anymore? They stuck you on back desk duty? Yeah, you can fight them if you want. And if you really want to get like some abilities from them, I think they're like level 6 or level 7 monsters. Hey.
Cold out there.
Yeah, it is.
It's really windy.
Yeah. But even though they're level 6, level 7 monsters, I've got basically everything I need other than Cure on Null, so that's all I really care about. We've got Psychic Blast after all. I don't really need anything else. Okay. Let's head inside, shall we? Actually, let's not head inside yet. Let's eavesdrop through the hole in the door first. But before we eavesdrop, excuse me a moment. Let me see if Jaeger's barking at the neighbors again.
Or he's barking at
Yes. He is indeed barking at the neighbors. But looks like they went into their house, so he's stopped. I hope.
If it gets really windy again, he might start barking at the
Yeah, but I'm gonna bring them in at like 8 o'clock, so they'll be okay. Yeah.
Just be really careful.
Well, yeah, because all the ice. It is a sheet of ice outside of our house, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a good day to be going anywhere. Anyway, let's listen in on the Shogun and Echigoya's little evil lair talk. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom...
You should really buy yourself a better pair of boots. Like
yeah,
what I have, like snow boots or something.
probably. I swear I still have some boots in the hall, but
You
I'll
might.
have to look. Oh, so that's why they need all that extra money, and that's probably why Echigoya is selling all those very expensive items, because the Shogun is hunting for Magi. See, before, we were just helping out Hana by proxy because it was something that was happening in the world. Now, we know they're hunting Magi, so now it's personal, because we're carrying on Dad's legacy of making sure that nobody evil uses the Magi for anything sinister. So, since they were using them for sinister things, let's make our entrance, shall we? Hana, play my theme music. Hey, are you ready to fucking die? Sorry, we made that joke twice, so I figured it'd be better to do it in rule of threes. Well, I'm talking to a dude who's about to get his ass kicked by me. So now you have to fight Echigoya and 9, count 'em 9, Hanamotos. But that's okay, we'll be fine. We gotta strike first after all, so it shouldn't really take a whole lot to do anything here. How do I want to do this one? I kind of almost want to see if I can confuse the Hanamotos to see if they'll kill Echigoya for me. We'll see in a moment. But if that doesn't work, failing that, we'll just Psychic Blast and flame everything to death and it'll be fine. Nice. Let's see if they actually attack Echigoya for me here. Probably not, because, yeah, we're gonna beat him up there. So, yeah, the vast majority of the Hanamotos won't actually do anything because they're confused. Some of them will, but... Okay, ow! That did a lot of damage. What the hell was that? That punch must have had only one use left on it. Ow! That was almost the maximum number of damage there. It would have been funny if they killed him for me, but instead they killed Yumi, so that's just great, but... Oh, whatever. Yeah, sure, alright, Echigoya. It flew by a little quickly there, but I could have sworn I saw 64,000 damage. Oh, well. Didn't really expect that one. Hopefully we don't get hit with that again anytime soon. The only trouble, of course, with Confucius being in Chimera form now is that he doesn't have access to his cure ability that he had as a nymph. So we're gonna have to make do without that for a little while. Hey, it's Conker's Twin again. What's going on? How you doing? Welcome back. We are repeating the things that we did yesterday because I'm a big dumbass and I deleted the first half of the stream from yesterday. So that's a lot of fun. Okay, so Yumi freaking died, Kame, but we took care of things with Echigoya. The question is, what do we do now? It's me again, and I'm gonna get confused again. Yeah, we gotta take care of the Shogun now, but we don't really have any solid evidence on him, do we? I mean, I guess we don't need evidence if we have a samurai with us. Oh, so does that mean you're the guardian that the townsfolk were talking about? Just might be, yeah. So Taro is not only a teacher here or a protector for Hana, he also happens to be one of the guardians. Excuse me, that one was also in there for a while. Apparently he knows who our captain was. I mean, I would imagine, because if he's a guardian and the captain is the captain of the guardians, he would know him. But yeah, he kind of blew himself up. It was not pretty. He ended up over there, and there, and there, and there. Too soon? Probably too soon. But what isn't too soon is Taro joining our party. And unlike Hana, he's quite a bit better. He has some really solid stats to take advantage of for his attacks. He's got access to the Muramasa, which has strength against human-type enemies, so it may actually deal double damage to a human-type enemy if you use it on them. He's got good armor that increases his agility so he can hit pretty well with his strength weapons. Samurai shield's not too bad either, and he's got a cure book that he can use instead of us using our cure books while we go through the next dungeon. So he's pretty solid. He's got some good stuff. He's got some good stats, good skills. He'll be a very solid addition to our party. He's one of the better 5th party members in the game out of all of them, unlike Hana. Sorry, Hana, but temptation only goes so far. Kicked a person into an active meat grinder, but you left your 4K quality camera in your bag so you couldn't record it. How did you forget? Wish I had an answer for that. Could be the fact that you were so busy trying to make sure somebody ended up in a meat grinder. Were you playing A Dog's Life? Is that what was happening there? Dog's Life was a weird PS2 game. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. I played it on a demo disc, but in the end of the game, the final boss is this crotchety old lady that's trying to, like, basically the way that the game goes is you play as a dog, and you end up finding out that this crotchety old lady is grinding up dogs for meat in dog food. So at the end of the game, you fight her as the final boss in her factory, and you end up throwing her into the meat grinder, and she dies and gets ground up into dog food. And that description may make the game sound incredibly gruesome, but as far as I know, it was rated E for everyone, so take that for what you will. I don't know how to explain that one. It's something, though. Never heard of A Dog's Life? Feel if you've heard of it. It became a bit of a meme for if you've done any like watching for like older speedrun stuff, like anything on like Games Done Quick, because if I remember right, the Rixer did a speedrun of it, and he's a fairly prolific speedrunner in his own right. He did a speedrun of it of one of the Games Done Quicks recently, like I think that one back in 2019 or something like that. So, are these guys immune to flame? Maybe not, but well, if I can give Null a chance to attack them with the Ice Book, I will try. With Taro here, though, probably not going to happen, yeah. Remember something like that on your old DS? Don't think it's the same thing, though. I don't remember which systems it came out on, to be honest with you. It might have come out on the DS. I can't really remember, because I just know it was out for PS2 because I had the demo disc of it at one point, so... Are we good to go here? Basically, I'm going to sell the tank, the Hecate boots, and the Thunder Axe, though, before we go anywhere. So I'll probably do that and rest at the inn. Oh, yeah, I gotta get... No, wait, I was going to get a Dragon Shield. I was going to say that's why I came here. But we actually don't need a Dragon Shield, because as we demonstrated yesterday, we can get one for free. So I don't actually need to do that. So we'll just rest up at the inn. And we'll sell the stuff so we can manage our inventory a little bit. And then once we're done with that, we'll head off to the Shogun's castle so we can help the Edo Shogunate get out from under the shadow of the Shogun. That's, hunting magi and generally being evil. Okay, keep the Ice Book, sell the tank, sell the Hecate boots, and sell the Thunder Axe. Pretty good money for all that stuff. Yeah, we're back at 86,000 gold, so if Echigoya was still here, I might even buy a Flare Book, but yeah, we don't have that luxury, unfortunately. No, other luxury we don't have Whirl for the final boss of the Shogun's castle, so that might make things a little more interesting. Yeah, the Nymph is really strong, but again, having Warning is just really nice on Chimera. It's just a matter of sometimes it might make things a little bit interesting, a little bit more. I should just use the Samurai Shield. I had to switch that stuff around so I don't forget that I have that. Yeah, it makes things a little more interesting sometimes because you don't have access to some super powerful attacks coming off of 71 mana. So, but it's fine. We'll be fine. We'll make do. What was I going to do? I was going to switch Taro's stuff around. There we go. That Ninja Gauntlet is nice for Taro, though, because it actually gives him protection from weapon damage, which means any weapons that are used against him by monsters are actually, the damage of them is halved, which is pretty good for him, so... Do you have any tips on how you should make the kids in your basement stop screaming so loud 24/7? Treat them with the respect that they deserve. Don't chain them to the wall. Feed them solid meals. Ideally, let them go back home to their families, but I mean, I guess that's... I don't know how. I don't know if you want to do that. It depends on whether or not the families would... See, I don't know how to answer this without feeling like I'm going to get myself in trouble. I mean, eventually you probably should send them back to their families so their families aren't worried about them. I was going to say, I don't know how much of an option that is for you, but that makes me sound like an accomplice, and I'd rather not be implicit to that. I like doing these streams too much. I can't go to jail, thank you very much. Okay, we got some mana. Nice. Oh, their families are dead. Oh, that sucks. Well, then, yeah, I guess they can't go home to their families then, can they? Then, yeah, I guess just treat them with the respect they deserve. Give them, solid meals and a good diet every day, and don't chain them to the wall would probably be my best answer then. We can do the same thing we did last time. It worked out pretty well for us. We'll end up using up that ice book, which is pretty good. And then that way we'll have a full ice book and maximum charges on our abilities before we go into the Shogun's castle. So that's good. That escalated quickly, yeah. Yeah, some of these conversations we have here tend to escalate a little bit quickly. You feed them the limbs of their parents once a day. Isn't that a solid diet? Depends on how stringy their parents were. I shouldn't be laughing at that. I'm sorry. Oh, that's terrible. I'm being terrible today. Sometimes their organs too. Oh, Jesus Christ. Starting to sound like a member of the Dark Brotherhood here. I'm downloading my, I'm playing around with my mod list again on Skyrim Special Edition, actually, on my computer while I'm off screen. Because one of the first things that Cole wanted to do with his new computer was he wanted to mod Skyrim. Fair enough, it's Skyrim, so of course you'd want to mod it when you have a graphics card that can handle it. But then I ended up messing around with my own Skyrim and messing around with all the mods and stuff like that, so I haven't quite gotten the load order correct just yet, but I think I'm getting pretty close to getting it correct. I want to try to get the load order correct for when I do a playthrough of Skyrim for the stream before I do it, so that way it's not like I start and then I'm like, well, this mod doesn't really, I'm not really a big fan of it. I can't really uninstall it because it's part of the playthrough, because the Skyrim playthrough is going to be a long playthrough, so yeah, I got to make sure I'm aware of what I'm doing there. Okay, this was not a surprise attack, I don't think. Those ninjas have a lot of HP, so I'm just going to try to blast them if I can. Maybe use some Thunder on the Stonemen and Psychic Blast! And then, Tara, why don't you just use the Samurai Shield? I think we got this. Okay, that should take care of the Stonemen. And Null's not going to get a turn. Never mind, he's going to get a turn. He'll get a chance to Psychic Blast! And we'll get a chance to use an Eye Drop because the blind that they just used will persist after battle. So that sucks, but I mean, it's fine. We'll take care of it. That's why I carry these things around. You never know when you're going to need them, but usually when you need them, you don't have them. So I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So yeah, this is the Shogun's Castle. The enemies in here are going to be a little tricky, but I mean, we've got, let's see here, probably the commando I should hit. We've got a combination of Flame and Psychic Blast at this point, though, so it should go fairly smoothly for us. That combination by itself should be enough to annihilate the vast majority of the enemies we fight in here, because it's doing, like, between the two of them, about 600 damage to the entirety of, like, every single enemy in the pack, so... Now, of course, we have to wait it out for Null's turn to come up, but, yeah, I mean, in this particular battle, that wasn't a big deal, because the enemies here weren't going to do a whole lot to us, so... And Yuumi got agility up. Perfect. Working on Yuumi's agility now, because she won't really have a chance to do a whole lot of single targeting in the next world that we go to, and that'll be the place where her mana will really start to gain for her. So, yeah, I'd rather work on it now than later. Hope you don't get mono canceled on Twitter one day. Nah, it's fine. None of this stuff is real that we're talking about, so it's never going to happen. I mean, okay, so there may be a point in time where later on in my life I say something excessively stupid on some social media site, but I am doing the best that I can to not say anything excessively stupid. I mean, I say excessively stupid stuff all the time, but I'm talking about the kind of stuff that would get people canceled. Do I have any political/social beliefs that would get me canceled anywhere? I'm trying to think. I mean, I think that the United States needs more socialist policies that actually help its citizens rather than keep them under the pall of capitalism, but I also enjoy investing in the stock market for my retirement, so I mean, that would probably be about it, honestly. I don't think there's much else that I really indulge in that would get me canceled. If that's going to get me canceled, then okay, I guess I'll stop playing video games for the internet, but that seems like a silly thing to get somebody canceled on. Oh, those pathogens have a... Oh, no, never mind. That was the J-Bulks. I was going to say, they're strong against flame? Really? But no. No, they're not. Nothing strong against Psychic Blast, though. There we go. Depends on his FBI stalker person. Yeah, that's true as well. If my FBI stalker person that isn't Conker is a bit anal retentive, then we'll have to keep an eye out and make sure that we don't have any problems with getting canceled. 38 mana is doing pretty good for Null there. He's, I mean, once he gets up to 40, he'll be in good shape, but we might not get there just yet. Okay, just do the same thing we did last time. Just keep using Flame, keep using the Cat Claw, use up that Psychic Blast, and we'll be in good shape. Kids in your basement aren't actually locked up down there and chained to a wall. They're all living happily with their families. Good. That's very good, then. Don't come to my house, Mono's FBI agent. Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal. Wouldn't really work out, so... We're just here to play video games, man. That's all I know. We talk about stupid shit all the time, but at the end of the day, this whole thing is just us playing video games, so... Yeah, like, and it's really... I'm still trying to think, like, if there's anything in particular that I've ever done in my lifetime that would get me canceled on the internet, now that we were talking about it. Like, I'm just thinking about it because it's an interesting concept, you know, like what constitutes canceling someone on the internet, right? Like what kind of an action would constitute someone getting canceled? And yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of anything that I've personally done other than, again, my political or social views that the country that I live in needs to help its citizens a little more. Other than that, I can't really think of much of anything that would get me canceled, so yeah. Like, I've had a few fallings out with, like, internet groups in the past, but yeah, nothing, like, to the point where it was particularly bad for anyone involved. Most of the time, the person that it was bad for when it came to that stuff was for me, but I think that's me saying it from a personal standpoint. I'm biased because, of course, things happen to me along with other people, so I might, okay, I'll take Thunder over X Thunder, that works. Yeah, I'm a little biased because, obviously, I'm a player in that situation, so sometimes things might, my perception of the situation might be colored slightly to the point where I may feel like things happen more to me personally than to other people, when in reality, it was probably a combination where everyone involved had some bad things happen, and we've all moved on from them, so. I don't think there's anything in this room. No, there's not. It's interesting how Trump got banned on Twitter, but people who burn down buildings and are literal terrorists probably won't get banned on it anytime soon. Well, I don't know, though. I think Twitter's been kind of cracking down on that a little more. Ever since they put the ban hammer down on our illustrious ex-president, they've sort of been keeping an eye more out on some people like that, at least from my understanding of it. Social media sites have been sort of cracking down a little more. Just because the eyes of the public are on them now, right? So they have to kind of be like, well, you know, you have to be careful when you're a private company and you allow that sort of speech on your platform because of the fact that you could become implicit to the attacks that happen, depending on how severe they are, because you allowed that sort of speech. You saw that it was on your platform and you did nothing about it. You could be considered implicit to the, you know, something that happens. If there's a big attack and somebody was saying on a forum, on a private company's forum like Twitter or, you know, other social media sites, if they were saying that they were going to do something bad, you could be deemed implicit to that, depending on how large of a role it is and how prevalent that person is on that platform. That's why our ex-president was taken off, because of the fact that there were implications that he had something to do with what was happening. That's for the courts to figure out, not for me to figure out. I ain't no lawyer. But that's why, and I was talking about this, it's interesting too, because I was talking about this with Cole the other day. The whole freedom of speech thing in our country is you're free to speak your mind in a public forum, right? But private companies are within their rights under our current system to block you if you say some shit on a social media website because of the fact that they could become implicit to something that you say if it results in an actionable thing that, gets people hurt or killed. So it's, when people say that it's censorship, it is censorship in a way, but our freedoms to say what we want technically are not allowed on private company servers. It is allowed, and typically they won't do things about it unless it's really bad, but they have the right under our current system to say, no, that's too far, and then just shut you right down. I don't think it's a stretch to say that. That's what I was talking about previously with Cole, though, so yeah. It's interesting to me, though. It's interesting thinking about how wow, that just killed, holy crap. It's interesting to think about the way that the law works and how we take advantage of the laws within our country without really thinking about, okay, well, this is why this happens, and this is why it doesn't work when certain things happen, It's just interesting to me sometimes to look at the way that situations are in the world and try to figure out, okay, so how exactly does this work with our laws? And are the laws even just in that particular situation? I think in this situation, it is just to censor somebody who is on a private company's forum and saying that they're going to do some stupid shit. I think they're well within their rights to do that. Is it denial of freedom of speech? You could make the argument, I think. But yeah, if they want to say those sorts of things, they need to say it someplace where their freedoms are protected. You know what I mean? Which is a public forum. Of course, if you say it in a public forum, as in, like, out in real life, first of all, right now, you would be screaming it because you have to be 6 feet apart from people. And second of all, the police would probably look at you and say, sir, are you sure you want to say that? Because we could technically arrest you for that. So, yeah. And I don't know if I'm going too far with this conversation. I don't feel like it's going too far, but again, it's a topic that interests me, so I don't feel like I'm stepping on anybody's toes by saying these things. I like my freedoms as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to say some stupid shit on a social media website just because I feel like I can, So, you know why you got banned, though? Yeah. And think to just start banning people like that more often. Well, like I said, they're well within their rights to do that if somebody's saying stupid shit. So, because they're a company, they have to protect their own interests, and so that means if they think that them saying stupid shit could cause their company to be viewed in a negative light, they could very well just say, nah, we're going to put the ban hammer down on you. Sorry, bro, there's nothing we can do about it. You're saying stupid shit. So, but yeah, I don't know if this is uncomfortable for anybody in the audience. And I apologize if this topic is uncomfortable for anybody in the audience. I'm not trying to make anybody uncomfortable talking about this stuff. But it does interest me. So, I figured I'd elaborate a little on it since it came up, Hey, Ghost Hand, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're talking political stuff. Not normal here, but it's interesting stuff, I think, anyway. Still baffles you how society kind of works and just don't get stabbed while you sleep. Such a complex system to the point it's hard to swallow how it's a miracle things sort of work. Yeah, it's sort of held together by scotch tape and miracles in some places, isn't it? Probably make the kids in your basement be socially distant. Yeah, you don't want them to get COVID. Holy crap, that would suck. Especially for kids, like, ugh. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I definitely wouldn't wish it on kids. Scooz McGee, hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was gonna say, you're kind of one of the lurkers, but I do appreciate you being here anyway, even though we don't necessarily get to talk all the time. Freedom of speech only protects us from prosecution based on speech. It has nothing to do with whether or not a company allows you to post on their platform, so it wouldn't be violation of free speech. That is well said, and that is actually a very good point, yes. So it's based on, yes, our prosecution based on speech. It's not based on, well, I said this, so I should be allowed to say it. It's based on, I said this, and I'm being persecuted, so now I'm protected. So that's a very good point, Scoobs McGee. Thank you for adding that, because I appreciate that. That does clarify my point as well. So, let me see. We've done this battle before, but I kind of got to look at it again, Sometimes I got to just see. I think Flame plus the 3 melee attacks will take care of the Wyverns. If we go before everybody else gets a chance. The Thunder and Flame will take care of the other guys, so. Next 4 years are gonna be wild. It's gonna be, well, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be as wild as the previous 4 years. We'll have to see, but, that's just me. That's just my opinion. Society, it's at the same time incredibly basic and dauntingly complex. Just don't go yelling racial slurs. It's really that hard. I mean, that's true, though. That's really all you gotta do. Like, you can't just, you know, don't be mean to people. Nobody deserves to have been, what am I trying to say? Nobody deserves to have been you to be mean to them. And usually, if they do deserve you being mean to them, it's probably not going to de-escalate the situation. So, yeah, just don't be mean to people, really. It's just that simple. Let's see. I'm going to be using a lot of these flame attacks, aren't I? Maybe I should use 3 heads on the Gazer to just brap and get rid of him. The Knights can die to that. Null, will you get a turn if I do this? I might use the Flame Shield so you get a turn. No, actually, I'll use the Laser Sword. There we go. You beat that guy up. I hope 3 heads hits, because kind of important that it does. Excuse me. Let's see. I'm not sure if fire will be enough, so I'm going to Psychic Blast, just because I can. And then, Taro, why don't you heal yourself, because you've got a little bit of HP lost there. Okay, well, it almost killed them all. That definitely killed the Gazer. 3 heads is so stupid in these games, man. They actually nerfed it in Legend 3, though, from what I understand, because it's a monster ability, and it's not really all that great, so... They probably learned their lesson after the first 2 games when they tried to nerf it in this game, and they ended up just making all of the multi-hit attacks really powerful. So... Okay, I think I need to heal. Yeah, I really do need to heal. Taro, I need your help. There we go. And I might as well top you off. We've got 23 more uses of the Cure Book, and we won't use it before Taro leaves our party again. He's going to leave the party once we're done with the Shogun's Castle, so yeah, we'll be good. It's going to be a real shame if the kids in the basement die of COVID before they get to see you. Oh my god. Are you going to socially distance them, though, at that point? Like, you gotta... I don't condone what you're saying you're going to do, but you have to do it at least with social distancing so that nobody catches anything, you know? Because good lord, man. Okay, let's see here. Let's crawl through the covers here. Hey, here's some treasure. A body potion. A ninja gauntlet, that'll be nice for Arya. And a missile, so we can sell that. Let me see. So just give the ninja gauntlet to Arya. We'll give it to her instead of the Giant's Gauntlet here, because it gives her, I think, a little more defense than the Giant's Gauntlet, if not the exact same. Yeah, a little more defense. Gives her about 8 more, and a little more HP. It also gives her protection from weapons. So now any weapon attacks that she gets hit with, like a sword or anything like that, a katana, it'll do half damage to her. So that's rather nice. It means your robot is now immune to para, poison, and weapon. Well, immune to para, poison, and then resistant to weapon is a more appropriate term to put it. So, yeah, that's nice. Helps us out quite a bit. I don't want to do this. Do that. And then Psychic Blast. And then, did I use the bazooka on these guys? I think I used the bazooka on these guys. Well, I'm going to find out in a second. Oh, there goes a wyvern. 1 katana. That's all it took. Okay, so probably 1 phantom will be alive, but I mean, this was a strike first, so it's fine. Brrrr. Gotcha. And then everybody dogpile on the last phantom, and we'll be in good shape. Yeah, you just use thunder. That's fine. I should really replace that ice book, shouldn't I? Ha! No ice for you. I mean, were they infected before they went into your basement? Yeah, that is a good question, actually. Found them walking home from school one day on the streets, had all the... Oh my gosh. When bad broke after the 4th one, said to use fists. Oh, yikes, dude. Yeah, well, hopefully you washed your hands before you did any of that stuff, because, oh man, that could be a bit problematic. Who do I want to use that body potion on? Yumi's a little lower on her HP than I would like her to be. But I feel like if I use the body potion on her, she's going to end up having like 900 health by the end game. I mean, I guess that's not a problem, but Null's been getting good HP gains lately, so... How much space do I still have? Oh, I've got plenty. Okay. Let's stick the missile up here. And, Yeah, I'll use it on Null. He's got more to worry about when he exits a battle anyway. He's got like all of his abilities and everything to concern himself with, so it's probably better to give him the HP just so that he has it. Because Yuumi, it's almost like not a 1 in 3 chance between each of her abilities, but she's only ever working on either agility or mana and HP, so she should have an easier time gaining on the HP there. Keyword there is should. We'll see if it ends up being that way by the end game. But again, as long as we get to about 600, we'll be okay. So, just top everybody off. I should probably save in a minute. I'll do it when we get to the next floor. It's fine. Oh, okay, I see. That would explain that whole situation then. I'm surprised that the kids were able to get out of that, though. What's the time frame in between the first event here and the second event? That would, because that seems like a lot to happen to them, you know what I mean? I don't want to do this. Do I want to use 3 heads? I kind of want to save my charges on 3 heads, actually, because we will need them for a certain enemy that's coming up here in a few minutes, so... I'll do Thunder, and Thunder, and then Katana. There we go. It was like 2 months ago? Okay, gotcha. So that's those kids lasted a long time then. That's kind of impressive, actually. I feel like I have to be careful how I answer these things, though, right? So that, again, it doesn't... I don't want to make it sound like I'm condoning this behavior. Because I'm definitely not, but we're just shooting the shit at this point about stuff that's not actually happening. Let's be clear. So, let me see here. 2 anacondas and 5 fairies. 5 fairies... Oh, actually, no. 5 fairies shouldn't be too big of a deal because we have all that dragon armor on us now, so they should be not too big of a deal for us to deal with. We'll just have you do that. I think we'll just use fire, and then we'll use Psychic Blast. Which, between Fire and Psychic Blast, should kill the 5 fairies, and then the Anacondas will die to the Psychic Blast plus melee attacks, so... Or one of them will be left alive because Taro went immediately after Quinfucius. I don't know. Mexico is a wild place. Yeah, it can be. That's for sure. Okay, I guess I'm not using Psychic Blast this time. Fairies put me to sleep. That's fine. Let's do that, and then that, and then that. Get 'em, everybody! How many people did I have actually attack the fairies? Well, I'll tell you what, you can't put Arya to sleep, so that's the only thing that matters, because she's got the bazooka, so... Gotcha. But yeah, we won't need any monster meat for quite some time now, so don't worry about it if they drop it. There's a dragon sword if you have a strength character, or if Taro somehow ran out of katana uses, I guess you could equip that, but... It's probably better to just keep it and sell it. We're going to need some money to hold together so we can make some preparations for the next dungeon that we got to go to after this one. So probably a good idea to keep some money on hand if you have it. There's a dragon shield for us. We actually didn't buy it this time, so we can get it for free. And we'll replace the flame shield with it, and Arya's defense will shoot through the roof. Awesome. We will eventually be replacing this giant gauntlet, though, with something that gives her no defense boost. So it's probably better to have these 3, because these are probably going to be 2 out of 3 of her endgame armor pieces. She's eventually going to replace the dragon armor with something else, but yeah, we'll do that when the time comes. Not a big deal just now. What else have I got? Have I got enough room for one more thing? Oh yeah, I got enough room for plenty of other stuff. Good, very good, because we're about to get something else for Arya that will be very, very useful for her. A lot of the ending gear in this dungeon is rather useful for your robot, I find, so... Boy, it's a good thing I don't get unexpected attacks anymore. I think these guys have circle damage, so I don't think Flame will actually do anything to them. So I guess we'll just do the best we can. We'll just use Psychic Blast. When in doubt, Psychic Blast! As long as we have about 5 of those left by the time we get up to the end of this dungeon, which we're almost there now, we should be okay. Bet. Okay, 3 of them lived. That's impressive, actually. It's okay if we use up the bazooka, though, because we're going to be getting something better for that slot in just a moment, so... My friend from Federal Prison spends one more night at your place. He said he would pay rent. Hell no, man. If he's going to pay rent, I'm down. That's cool. Oh, Circle Poison. Nice. Was I using his second Thunder? No, I wasn't. It was all the way down there. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to what that would be. Really, now, if... I don't even care what Null's fourth ability is at this point, although I probably should, because then I could, you know, use it if I need it. Like, I could do this... and this. But until it becomes Cure, I really don't... I mean, Null's abilities are fine at the moment, other than Cure. If he gets Cure, that's the only thing I care about, so... Uh-oh, there's the Shogun right there. But before we fight him, let's go around him and grab something out of the chest here. And fight a few of his henchmen, sure, why not? I don't want to attack these guys. Probably Bazooka on these guys. I'll use 3 heads on the Ninja. And then we'll use Thunder on these guys, and then use Thunder on these guys, and we'll see if they're immune to damage. And I'll have Taro attack them just in case they are. Brrrah! Look at that. You can even one-shot a ninja with 3 heads. Perfect. Shouldn't that depend on if your friend is even in the same state? Well, might be. There was somebody here at my house last night that stayed the night and paid rent, so if it wasn't your friend, I don't know who it was. They were pretty chill, though. Okay, so they don't have circle damage. I was wrong! Alright, let's beat up the ninja now. Watch him guard against, like, all of these attacks with his shields. Except Thunder. Could use the Muramasa on him as well, because that, I believe the way that weakness hits work in this game is that they have 100% accuracy if you're using a weapon, and they deal double damage, so, yeah. But I'm not 100% sure about that. What I am 100% sure about is the fact that this is a really solid weapon that we just got for Arya, the Samurai Bow. And I should probably heal before we start talking about how good it is. Well, I can tell you while I'm healing, actually. The Samurai Bow, you may recall the Yoichi's Bow from other Final Fantasy games. It's this game's version of the Yoichi Bow. But, unlike the Yoichi Bow in other Final Fantasy games, this one is significantly better in a lot of cases. They probably looked at this game, and then they looked at Final Fantasy II's version of the Yoichi Bow, and they said, yeah, let's make our version a lot better. Because this one is really strong on the agility, as you'll see when I equip it. Watch agility, 33, 59. Plus 26 agility for Arya. She's going to be a house now. And it is an agility weapon, but it also hits a group of enemies. So it is significantly better than basically any other hit-all ability that Arya can get because it gives her agility. So the Samurai Bow is really solid for any agility character. Particularly for robots because it's really strong, but it only has 30 uses. But if you're on robots, you'll just get those back. You get 15 uses, and then you can replenish them. So, yeah, really solid for a robot. One of the reasons why robots and agility work so well together, obviously. So, love settings that mix of feudal and medieval societies with high-grade weapons technology. Yeah, it's interesting because of all the different variety of worlds in this game. You end up getting stuff with like high technology mixed in with like a medieval or like a Sengoku period Japan thing. So you end up like shooting a feudal era samurai in the face with a gun at some point in the game. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's very interesting. I like the mishmash of all of this stuff, you know? And of course there's the fact that we have a European mythical monster in our party, a chimera, to fight Japanese in a Japanese setting, so that's always interesting. Hey, Ivysaur, how's it going? Yes, a lot of the aesthetics in this game I think are very enjoyable, so mixing the two concepts is cool as well. Yes, yes. Very cool, very cool. I enjoy the way that this game sort of mixes up its genres and stuff. They do it pretty well, I think. Really, this whole game holds up really well for a 30-year-old game, I think. So, well worth the money I spent on it. You will die for the things that you have done to dishonor the people of the Edo Shogunate. Shogun. So now we have to fight the Shogun. He's kind of a pushover, to be honest. I'd like everybody to get a turn. I kind of hope they do. I'm not sure if they will, but I'm going to try. We'll wait to use the Muramasa until the next turn, just so that way everybody can get a chance to get some abilities out of this fight. I would like to try to get mana and everything else. So, Okay, he used Riddle, which confused most people in the party. Who's confused here? Confucius and Yumi. Okay, well that should be fine. We should be able to take care of him even without it. Let's use the Samurai Bow. We'll use Thunder. Excuse me, and we'll use the Muramasa. Get him, guys. Bat. Nice. And, 500 damage with the Samurai Bow ain't too bad either. What, 1 gold? That's all you had on you? What'd you do, spend all your money hunting for Magi? Didn't keep an emergency savings fund for yourself, did you? That's not very fiscally responsible. To be fair, Japanese were overwhelmed by the guns concept when the Portuguese first introduced them to it. Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. I mean, the Chinese people, at least from my understanding, had fireworks before that, so a gun probably wasn't out of the question, but they were probably more used to the idea of a rocket than a pistol, Okay, that guy's a little spooky. Apparently it's the Shogun's father, the Magnate. And he's kind of an asshole. I mean, sure, the Shogun did bad things, but did he really deserve to get viciously mauled and erased from existence? I mean, I would say we'll leave that up to the courts, but, well, he's dead, so we can't. I guess I'll see him in hell. Alright, Magnate. Oh, okay then. So now we have to fight the Magnate on the roof. But before we fight the Magnate, I actually want to make a quick save here. And he's right up there, and as soon as you step up to the top of the roof there, you can fight him. But before we fight him, let's head over here and fight his statue instead, because that's not crazy. So now we get to fight a dolphin statue. Are you sure that's a dolphin? I didn't think dolphins had scales like that. Maybe he's just really parched because he hasn't been in the water for a while. Well, anyway, this is, it's kind of like a super enemy almost. It's got like 5,000 HP, and we should be able to make fairly short work of it, though, because I don't think it has a whole lot of protection from elements. I think it has Circle Fire, but I'm not 100% sure about that. We'll just use the Cat Claw and Psychic Blast, and just use the Muramasa. Use the best stuff you have, and he'll probably go down fairly quickly. He can deal really good damage to you, though, so I'm going to try to put up the barrier there with the Dragon Shield in case he uses something like Blizzard or, like some elemental attacks on us, because I think he has a few. But other than that, just blast him with the strongest attacks that you have, and we'll be in good shape. Because, yeah, I mean, we're doing 700 damage a pop there, 700 there, 300 there. It's really, it shouldn't take too long. Ow. He is similar to the Magnate, though, in that I think he has an attack that can hit all of you. Like, I don't think it's Tornado. It might be Whirl, to be honest with you, but I think he has a really big fuck you attack that he can use, so. Okay, we got mana up out of it. That's pretty good. The 0 gold is not really a huge deal because we didn't, I mean, look at the gold that we have. We have 110,000, so yeah, we don't really need it that badly. Okay, I'm going to step down here for a second, and before we fight the Magnate, I'm going to use one of those tents that I bought at Echigoya's store, so that way we're in top shape when we fight him. There we go. And yep, everybody got their abilities back. We're all up at full. Let's head in and fight the Magnate, shall we? See if we get tornadoed to death this time. We almost did last time. Holy cow. Well, let's find out this time. He was kind of an asshole to a lot of people. Well, I may have brought the Magi to you, Magnate, but you'll never get to see them under your rule. So now we have to fight the Magnate, the final boss of the Edo Shogunate Castle. So, same sort of stuff. We're going to use the Dragon Shield to put up a nice barrier for us, because I think he has some elemental attacks. I think he uses, like, Thunder and Ice, if I remember correctly. Nothing too substantial, though. I don't think he has immunity to elements, but I'm still going to use the Cat Claw because I still want to work on agility. Psychic Blast will work pretty good. Use the Muramasa because it's the strongest thing we have. Using the Dragon Shield will not help you against his Tornado attack, though. Tornado is kind of like Whirl. It's just a different name. It's non-elemental, and it deals upwards of 400 damage to your entire party. So, yeah, if you get hit with 2 of those, you're probably dead. If you have a heal staff, it might be a good idea to bring it along and use it in this battle. This is the first place where it'll really be useful to you. I don't have one, though, so we're just going to go balls to the wall and try to beat him before he kills us. We'll see what we can do. I think he's got like 4,000, 5,000 HP, something like that, so might take a little while, but we should be able to get through him eventually. Yeah, that Vulcan isn't really going to do you a whole lot of good there. You're going to have to do better than that, Magnate, he says, wishing death on himself. I should probably heal Quinfucius next turn, shouldn't I? Get that Psychic Blast, and, should I? I don't know if I want to waste Taro's turn healing, because we might almost have him at this point, so... we'll just go balls to the wall, whatever. Let's get dangerous. Ha ha. Your elemental attacks are useless against us. Okay, so we didn't quite have him. That could have turned out very badly if he had used Tornado. It's okay, though. Wah, wah. Man, he didn't get to do anything this time. That sucks for him, but not really, though, because he was trying to use the Magi for potentially evil purposes. I don't think he ever told us what his plan was. Oh, well, we got HP and mana, so that's pretty good. Yeah, buffs and debuffs, they work until they don't. At least this game has buffs. The first game didn't really have any buffs. I mean, if you used a shield in the first game, you put up a barrier for your party as well, but it was only for the turn, so you had to keep using it. But this game, you just put up a shield and it lasts the entire battle, so... Now, that's not for physical attacks, but for elemental protection, yeah, works pretty good. Alright, Magnate, I'll see you in hell as well. And he was holding on to the 4 Magi in this world. So we got a Fire Magi, an Ice Magi, a Thunder Magi, and a Poison Magi. Yeah, no fancy... although thinking about it, really, he could have had the... there is a counterpart to the Aegis Magi that this guy really could have had, considering what it is. We'll find out what it is later, but yeah, he could have had it here, but he didn't. So, oh well. We got all the Magi, and that's all that matters. And apparently Taro and Hana are gonna do a little smoochy smooch. We should probably leave so that we can give them a little privacy, shouldn't we? And besides, we've got things to do. We've only got 10 Magi left, and then we're all done. Awesome. And now that we actually got the transformation for Quinfucius, we don't have to hang around here because we have Chimera. It's all we really need for the next area. And we're actually in fairly decent shape to go to the next area and take care of business. We've got a few things to sell, though, so we'll go do that in a minute. But before we do that, I'm actually going to go to the next world anyway, Epilepsy Alert. Because if we go to the next world, we're going to get a new ability that will actually allow us to transfer ourselves to anywhere in the world without too much trouble. So you could say we'll get teleportation technology. It's not too far from the truth, actually. So let's see, this is the world right here. Before we do Epilepsy Alert, we'll just see we need more Magi to open this one. So let's go into the next world, shall we? Epilepsy Alert. And let's check out this world, shall we? Looks like there's another sandstorm going on here. It keeps happening all over the place. Maybe it has something to do with those earthquakes. Probably. It's probably not good, though. And usually when there's an earthquake, it's usually pretty bad. Uh-oh, nightmares. I get it. These guys, I think, can use fire elemental attacks on you, and I think they're also immune to flames, so you gotta be a little careful with them. We should be able to handle it, though, between thunder and thunder, so... But yeah, that dragon shield that we use there, the barrier that covers the party will protect us against their flame attack, because they, as you can see, have access to flame, which is, it's exactly the same as our flame. And if we didn't have the dragon armor, that would be doing like 200 damage to everybody. So yeah, good idea to have the elemental protection here, or at the very least have somebody that has the dragon shield. The only person in our party where that would actually be a problem would be Quinfucius, though. So he's the only one who doesn't have elemental protection. So it's still good to have the dragon shield, even though Arya and Yumi and Null are covered. Just because we want to make sure Quinfucius is covered too. And we won't need his monster meat either. Oh, there's a cave here. And that's it, because the rest of it is just mountains. Okay. It's a small world after all. Who do I want to hit here? Probably you. Use fire on this guy, and then Psychic Blast! I love Psychic Blast. It's just so nice to be able to actually use it, you know? Keep in mind that there are Catwomans in this world too, by the way. Yeah, see, there we go. So we took a little bit of damage there because we don't have a fire immunity on Confucius. Probably be better if we did, but, well, you know. But yeah, keep in mind that Catwomen are in this world, because at some point I'm actually going to need that for a monster transformation. I think we can get it somewhere else a little bit easier, but just in case, I might get it from here as well, so just keep it in mind. 16 and 16, okay. I'm going to need to buy 2 whole cure books, I think, for when I make my special preparations in a little bit here. But anyway, since this is the only thing here, let's check the cave out, shall we? Hello there, Madam Nymph. What's going on in here? Really? Huh. Is it that bad? Come on, it can't be that bad. Oh, well, I think what you're trying to say there is that you're willing to give it to me, so thank you. I appreciate that. So we received the Pegasus Magi in this box. What that does is it acts like an infinite teleport for you. You just go to your Magi menu, you hit the use power, you hit the Pegasus, and you can teleport to any town that you've already been to in the game. So that's pretty nice. Even back here to the Nasty Dungeon, which she says it's mean and nasty, it's actually referred to in the game's code as the Nasty Dungeon, so that's kind of funny. But anyway, is that the only Magi here? Yeah, it's the only one we've got in this world, so that means we can technically move on to the next world if we really wanted to. We can't get any more Magi at the moment, so yeah, we can move on. Or we could explore the entirety of the Nasty Dungeon for fun and profit. But if we're going to bother with that, I need to go make some special preparations. So let's use the Pegasus Magi, and we'll head back to the second town? I think we'll head back to the second town. They've got cure books and stuff here. This is where you start first getting access to that stuff, so probably here would be a good idea to... Okay, fine. I guess I'll fight these guys too. Can you imagine if I got cure from this fight, though? I would fucking flip my shit. Oh, I would freak out at the end here. Well, I don't know if I'd freak out that badly, but it would be pretty nice. Game! Damn it. Oh, well. No big deal. But yeah, if we're going to take on the Nasty Dungeon, we need to make some special preparations. That place is 8 floors long, and there are twists, turns, and other sharp loops that will generally throw us for one. So, nasty. But it's fun and interesting to play through because you have to use all of your skills and wiles in order to make sure that you get out alive. And you'll have to do some inventory management as well, so we'll probably... By the time we're done there, we'll probably have to teleport out of there one whole time and then go back in because there are so many items to get in there. It gets kind of ridiculous. So let's sell off our excess stuff, though, first that we don't need. All right, so let me take a look at what I'm going to need here. We will need nothing for Arya because she's in really good shape in all departments now. The 94 defense is really going to help us in the next dungeon. And she'll be getting something that'll actually replace this Giant's Gauntlet later on in the dungeon, so it'll be pretty nice for her. She'll also get something that'll replace the laser swords that she's got, so that's pretty good too. Confucius is good. He'll be good for the entirety of the dungeon, though I'll probably place him further back in the order of characters once Yuumi and Null start getting more HP. They may actually overtake him on HP by the time we're done. That's how long this place is. As for Yuumi, let's see. I could probably use... I definitely need to, at the very least, get her another Fire Book and another Thunder Book. Maybe even another Mage's Staff before we get too far. She'll use up the entirety of the Cat Claw and the entirety of the Laser by the time we're done with the dungeon. And probably then some. So I need to get her at least one Fire Book, one Thunder Book, one Cure Book. I might get another Mage's Staff for her as well, so I'll have to go back to Edo to get that. And for Null... He'll definitely need another Ice Book, even though we've got Psychic Blast and Thunder. He'll definitely need another Ice Book just in case, because there are some enemies in this dungeon that are weak to ice, so it'll be good to have. So I need one of each Elemental Book, 2 Cure Books, and a Mage's Staff. Is that it? Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. That's about it. Okay, well, that won't take too long to make those preparations, so let's go do that now, shall we? The eye drops and everything that I have should be good. The only thing that you might actually need more of in terms of the statuses here is you might actually need more soft potions. So I'm actually going to go buy one of those since we're here. I think I can buy them from the item shop here, if I remember right. So yeah, we'll make our preparations on screen because why the heck not? I got a little extra time. We'll sell the X-Cure because I won't need that anymore. We'll buy another soft potion to stick in that slot. And then we need to buy 2 cure books. There we go. Should I buy a heal staff? I might buy a heal staff just to have it. I'll buy a heal staff just to have it, I think. Because it'll come in handy if we need to do some really big group healing. And when Yumi eventually runs out of her cat claw, since I'm not going to replace that with anything, I guess I could just give her the heal staff along with the mage's staff. So we'll do it that way. So I have 2 cure books. We'll end up using all of these elixirs probably and the tent in this dungeon as well. So, okay, I have 2 cure books and a heal staff. I need ice, fire, thunder, and a mage's staff. And how much room does that leave me? 2 slots. Fantastic. Okay, well, we'll do the best we can with those 2 slots then. It's a little less than ideal, though, actually. You know what I might do? Here's what I might do. I might just refresh their cure books. So, like, do this, basically. And give them these. And just sell the old ones. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I'll just sell the old ones. That way they've got fresh cure books, and we'll buy them extra cure books later. Because if we're going to make one trip out of the dungeon, we'll have a chance to come back and buy more cure books. You can use the Pegasus Magi in dungeons if you need to, so don't worry about that too much. We'll be able to make it work. Alright, so a fire book, a thunder book, an ice book. We'll keep the heal staff here and the mage's staff there. That'll leave us 1, 2, 3, 4 slots. That's a little better. I like that better. Because this dungeon isn't just the fact that it's really long and it'll take a toll on your party's resources. It'll also take a toll on your inventory management because, like I said before, there are so many items to get in here that you really need to micromanage a little bit with your items to make sure that you don't, like, run out of space for some of the good stuff by the time you're done. Because the vast majority of the stuff you'll find in here is the good stuff, so... Alright, so we got to go to Lynn's Village in order to get a fire book, but after that we should be good to go, and I think the Pegasus Magi will teleport us directly to the nasty dungeon. I don't think it teleports us to the Pillar of the Sky. I think it puts us right outside of it, so that'll actually be pretty good for us. Okay, so we need a fire book from the weapons shop. Yeah, we're making good time. I was going to make these preparations off-screen, but I figured since we started at about 4:40, this will put us at about 2.5 hours right here. So, a little over, but that's okay. Alright, buy a fire book. And I think we're all set and ready to go, so let's teleport back to the nasty dungeon and get ready to take it on. Will we survive the twists and turns of its harrowed hallways, or will the Eldritch Abominations have us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner inside? Find out on the next episode of Final Fantasy Legend II, the Stream Edition, where we will probably spend the entirety of the stream in this dungeon. Yes, it is in fact that long. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream. I will make sure not to delete this one today. And I will see all of you on the next one, which will be happening sometime next week, early next week, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, probably on Sunday. But we'll make that work when we get that far. I'll post the schedule tomorrow at about 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, like I usually do, 7 or 8 o'clock. But until I see you next week, everybody, I hope that you will take care and have a good one. You will survive, but the kids in the basement certainly won't. Oh my god. We talk about the craziest shit sometimes on these streams. I swear.